Good afternoon. This is the work session of the Board of County Commissioners, Pitkin County, Colorado. It is Tuesday, March 24th. It is 1:05 p.m. We can't even blame it on PowerPoint. Our work session agenda starts off with the spring airport closure and parking updates with Diane Jackson and Ryan Mahoney. And good afternoon.
Commissioners.
Thanks for joining us.
Bear with me. Sorry, Chair.
It does start with a PowerPoint delay.
It does. I apologize, everyone, but I promise you it will make much more sense getting this up. Okay, everyone. Thank you, Diane Jackson, Airport Director. We just wanted to bring to you an update on this. This is always a hot topic in the community, and thought that it would be best to update you fully on everything. So our spring closure starts April 23rd at 9 a.m., which means the first flights can go out. We can get those last people out for the morning. And reopening May 21st at 7 p.m., we found that last year that worked really well for our air carriers to be able to get their flights in position for the following morning so we can have a full day of flights. This year it's a little different. We do have the Elk lot, which is our long-term lot, that is also closing for the duration of the project. This is something unusual. A lot of community members travel during that time, especially our airline employees. So this is something different that everyone's going to be noticing a difference. So as far as outreach for this, the airlines were notified months ago about this. They changed their schedules to reflect that. We've learned that over the last couple of years, and we kind of keep an eye on that with Bell to ensure that they're doing that, because we do get calls when people are able to book tickets and they see this. Atlantic and other stakeholders are also aware, and we try to work with them. I think last year we had one GA that was out by an hour delay to start our closure because it would have been stuck here a month otherwise. So we really try to work with everybody on that. What else are we doing? There is a banner on the website. It's a large banner on the top, orange in color, that both says our airport closure as well as our parking lot closure. Given that not everyone goes to our website, we have specific communications going out about the Elk lot, and I'm sure you all may have seen your Pitco alert for it. We were told to maybe make 2 of those. Don't make them too much or people won't pay attention. So we're trying to be very intentional about what we do. We wanted it on the PCIN. We have it in our newsletter, social media, as well as signage at the lot, because we will have to tow anyone that's in there. We have started this already, so it was prior to 30 days out. We have a 30-day max stay in our parking lots. We have not necessarily enforced that strictly. This, unfortunately, we're going to have to be able to get this done in the short time frame we have. So the scope of the project this year: runway 1533, pavement maintenance and partial pavement rehab. We're actually focusing on the keel section at the threshold of runway 33. We've really been watching this. If there is one thing to say, with a mild winter, it's not been great for our community, but it has been better for our pavement. With the extreme temperature fluctuations, things were just made worse with the runway. So that played in our favor this year for that. So we were able to cut down some of the things that we even had in our bid. So we'll get to that too. Our de-icing apron, I think we've told you in the past, we're having issues with our trench drain. We're taking the worst sections of that, which I have a drawing for to show you. We're anticipating that we can do it in 3 smaller sections with enough in our budget that if we have to go further, we will. But that is a long lead item, both for ordering pieces as well as cure time, because it's concrete. And then our Elk lot improvements. I know we've heard this from several community members, our commissioners, that the parking lot is extremely difficult to maneuver, especially at night. You can't see anything. So we're really looking forward to this. We understand that it's a year, but I think it's a very worthy year to do the improvements. So our phasing for it, we have two different phases, or what I would call two different phases during our closure. Our isolated runway rehab, we'll take it down, we'll mill it down 3 inches, repave it. And as you know, the runway is grooved, so that's going to be in phase 2, which we'll get to here in a minute. And then the de-ice trench drain, which is the biggest cure time for any aircraft going over it. And if anyone's seen our de-ice pad, that's critical for our operation both in the winter and the summer.
Pardon me, is that, you're calling it a French drain or a trench drain?
Trench drain.
Trench drain.
Yep. They're little
Interesting.
drains that collect our glycol.
Right, yeah, okay.
So it has to be
Modeled after a French drain,
similar.
I think.
Little different.
Okay, thank you.
Our elk lot improvements, which we'll go into depth with, and rubber removal and temporary paint. And you'll see the temporary paint is placed down on the runway after the pavement because the pavement has to have time to cure before it can be grooved, which is at least 30 days, and then permanent markings. So for this short time frame, we won't have glass beads and such on the runway and not the beautiful white that you'd normally see when you fly. Phase 2 is July 6th through the 20th. This will include the grooving of the new pavement, permanent pavement markings on the runway, and that's completed on the overnight hours, our 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. This permit that we were talking to you about, our last regular session, is something that we normally do administratively with public health. So we've already filed for that. They're aware of it. So here's a cross-section of the trench drain. You'll see, it's kind of hard to see where the little barricades are during the trench drain. Those are our isolated areas that we're finding the concrete kind of crumbling and not necessarily supporting the grates for that. So that's what our goal is to keep it as isolated as possible, knowing that we might have to extend out the sections depending on how the concrete acts when they go to take it out. This is just one section or drawing from our construction specs that show that shaded area in the center of our displaced threshold there with the arrows is where we're going to focus our pavement this year, our pavement repairs. And just to give an idea, this is the south end of the runway, and that's what I would affectionately refer to as our teacup there, taxiway Bravo at the bottom of the screen. One that I think everyone is probably most interested in is our long-term improvement. So you'll see on the left-hand side, that's our existing condition, extremely confusing what gate you're going in, which one you can go out of, no real arrows or direction. It was kind of pieced together over a number of improvements. We've been working closely with Kimley Horn on this to see what is best in our parking partner at SP Plus, and we all came to the conclusion that one central entry and exit would be best, and I'm not sure if my arrow will show it. There we go. Right here it will be the entry, so we're taking it back from the parking lots. We're adding some lighting along the fences so everyone can see their cars at night, still staying within our county code for that. And I should note that those lights are actually portable, so they will be able to be reused in the new improvements, so that's nothing that is going to waste. So we're pretty excited about this. And a way to keep down cost, we're required to do a test strip for pavement on the runway, and we're actually using our test strip here to be able to pave that to save some costs. So we've tried to be creative with what we need and what really needs to get done for the next year.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Just the circulation through that, they're going to improve that too, I guess.
The
somehow.
arrows, yes. And
Just so you know, like if it's 2 lots, you're merging them. They're very awkward to begin with. They're
yes.
skewed. It's like really a problem.
We've looked really closely at this, and that's why striping is part of this contract. Our team is fantastic. They can do striping, but we put it in the contract so we make sure that this is all done in a timely fashion and done properly
Yeah.
with proper ADA access. So we have that ramp coming up, and one of our more expensive items, to be honest with you, in this bid that came back was the material that we want to put over our walkways to give a little more grit, because we know that we can get slippery in the winter, to put a little more grit on the walkway from our handicap areas as well. So.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to come back. Y'all are happy to come visit us, and I'm happy to come back with some results from this too, because I'm really looking forward to how good this is going to turn out.
If I could, another quick improvement. that I always bump into, because I don't use it often enough to be really familiar with the payment system, that every time I come up to that thing, it's like, was I supposed to scan the barcode back there, or did I forget to do something? Or it's always like, am I going to be able to get out of here, at 11 o'clock at night when I come in next week? I'm still baffled by that, and it shouldn't be so complicated, but somehow I don't understand how it works.
So we're still working through some kinks because I think people, still have some complications with that, but really they scan it. And once you put your license plate in there, and the beauty of this system is they're across the country. And once you have it registered anywhere that SP Plus or Metropolis is, you're now registered as long as you opt in for that system. And it'll stop you at the gate if you don't, but it is best practice to be able to register on your way out, because then if anybody's behind you, you're not holding them up.
So better to do it when you're
It is. So they have the
drop
signs
the
at the
car
entry
is
with
when
the
to do it.
QR code.
Do it when you drop the car.
Or even in the terminal, they have their QR code in the terminal. So
Now I'm beginning to understand. Thank you.
yeah, no. Just another arrow to show you the entryway. If you look above the screen where the picture isn't there, that's our airfield access gate that you probably see when you turn left into our lots. So we're just really putting that central gate back down to like the tip of that arrow. So when people come in, they're in the lot after they go through that gate. So removing the existing gates, obviously we'll keep the hardware if we need that. Paving the entryway with our test strip. Reinstalling the central exit and entry. And installing our lighting fixtures. And restriping. This was my huge benefit for the day and surprise for everyone. We are going to gain an additional 20 spaces, which I'm happy with one. So 20 is
20 is
really
great.
great considering the amount of passengers we have and employees trying to intermix in that midday hour.
How many spots is it?
Oh gosh,
can talk about this.
489 right now. I'm trying to remember offhand. So it is not a lot for a parking lot considering we have the amount of employees we have. Midday, we can have our parking lot, our elk lot, filled up almost 80% with employees.
Question for Jeffrey. Looking at you for your architectural and spatial visual abilities, this looks like an earthquake broke our parking lot in half.
And have.
Is there any way, could it be optimized if we configured it, into some other more orderly fashion, perhaps with a little triangle with extra parking? I don't know.
We've tried to look at that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. It's like, man.
Because it's also snow removal, right?
you've got that
Trying
too.
to make it the
Topography.
easiest for that, because right now this parking lot is extremely challenging. And I am so impressed by the team and the fact that they can maneuver around these cars in that tight lot.
It seems that cars have gotten wider. and
They
I'm not sure
have.
spaces have.
So Diane, Patty, and then I'll take a question.
So on the AIS, it says the budget is 6,800,000, but the grant that we're approving, is that not tomorrow?
This is
that
not a
different
grant.
It's
This
for
is all-
9,600,000.
So completely separate. So this is unfortunately still part of the holdover with the FAA, that the FAA said the next grant they will give us is for shifting the runway. It will not be for pavement maintenance.
So,
We are shouldering this locally.
okay.
It's
and
in the
we're
budget.
shouldering
but-
both the parking lot and the runway
Yes.
improvement. Okay. Thank you, because are we at 6 million or are we at 9 million?
So-
Okay. The
so
9
how-
million is for planning for the,
It's for the design for the runway. So like
For
the
the runway
Kimberly
shift.
Horn
you.
contract.
Yeah, so to Patty's question, the 9.6 million is tomorrow's grant and is for shift runway 1533, 82%.
And that'll
design.
be the first of two that will come before you, with an expectation that the other one will be for you in the next couple of weeks. Just splitting the different pots of money from AIG to entitlement funds to discretionary. And they will come at 3 different times of the year,
Is there,
unfortunately.
given that discussion, given this is out of pocket to the airport, is there an opportunity to reopen the lots and increase fees for both bear and elk?
If we are able to get this done, absolutely, there will be a push, and this is a priority to start right away, which is why we need all the cars moved out. We also have looked at things. The bids come back yesterday afternoon, so we've had some really quick work until today, so I could give some very prelim numbers to everyone. The bids came back extremely high. We've had one bidder, which we classically have had here, United. companies, and it came in over double what the engineer's estimate was, which is expected. I mean, engineer's estimate knows what we have here. We've already taken out crack ceiling as one of the bid items. It was $2 million out of a $5.7 million contract. So we're trying to do things that we just don't think we need to do, that we can really Band-Aid this until next year.
And
So we were taking a very close look at their bid.
Is there a do-nothing approach?
We
Close the
have
runway.
taken it down
No,
to
no, no,
what
I'm not
we-
talking about the runway, I'm talking about Elk Lot. I'm talking about parking.
We could, but I don't encourage that. This is, $180,000 that
So
we've
it's just
budgeted
a-
for it, that I
okay.
really think that this is needed, that we can redo the lights. Is a customer service thing.
So
and
health
gaining-
safety.
As
Yeah,
we're increasing the walkways, and believe me, because I thought about that, because I said I'm going to have to justify this to the BoCC, and I really do. Had we had the money last year, we probably should have done it last year, but this is something that I think will really improve the customer experience, the employees being able to get to and from the lots.
Further questions for Diane?
Thank you, Diane.
Well, thank you.
Early, you can keep going.
I'm telling you.
We will see you tomorrow for the grant.
So I
And,
will tell
yeah.
you, I have a surprise coming to you. It won't be me tomorrow. It'll be somebody
for-
you're
for
familiar with, and
A
I'm sure
man with a
very
funny-
happy to
Man
see.
with a funny background?
He will, but he'll be in person this
Oh,
time.
no way.
He
Excellent.
will.
We look forward to seeing Dan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Let's see if
everyone.
he's suit and tied or if he's messy.
Ooh, I bet he turned in his suit and tie in retirement. Thank
I'm
you.
excited.
You won't be
Thanks,
here.
Dan.
Part of it I will.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
If y'all want to take my CMAR interview, I'd be happy to come.
No, I'm just not going to wear that blouse unless you're coming.
Yes, I will, and I will wear that.
It's a firm no.
We're about 8 minutes early for your next applicant.
Michelle's not here yet.
Sorry, Charlie, we're more efficient than I thought.
We're going to do future agendas. So grassroots run future agendas.
I don't have anything.
I was waiting.
I don't have any control. I don't have anything.
A couple of items I have, I think you've seen some emails. These are more just
We're
for
in open discussion.
no future agendas.
You
agendas,
said
okay.
future agenda.
Yeah. So I think you all saw the staff is going to host a Phillips tenant meeting on April 13th from 4 to 6, and was hoping to have some commissioners present or a commissioner present there. And the intent is to really just walk through where we are with the current land use process and answer some questions for folks.
Time again, I've got it out for 4 to 6. Yeah.
From 4 to 6.
Yeah, it's on my calendar.
Okay,
I can join. I can't
the
answer
13th?
everything, but I'd be like to be there.
great.
Monday.
4 to 6. And where?
So are we noticing, I thought we were just gonna have 1 or 2 commissioners.
I think we can have 1 or 2, or we can notice it if there's more commissioners that would like to attend.
I don't have to go, but
I don't know, if we all show up, it might make things more complicated.
It's probably good just to have 1 or 2 there.
Yeah, so we need to have that discussion, who's gonna go and who's not.
Okay. Sounds like Greg is willing to go.
I'm willing to go. If somebody else really wants to go, they can go.
like I said, I'm happy to for almost my own information too. But if that's not the
Is your
best,
mic on?
Like,
uh,
I-
yeah, I'm just
I
sitting
think
too
we
far
need to
back.
have somebody who knows what the board,
yeah,
it'd be great if you could, yeah, but
I'll get up to speed elsewhere.
Jeffrey, are you not available with the chair to go?
Staff will be
Or
there.
you don't wanna go?
stuff will be there.
So far, the only thing that we've approved as a board is a subdivision, so I'm a little short on the details in terms of show and tell.
Well,
The intention is because we have submitted the location and extent, staff will be there to be able to answer questions about the location and extent process and where we're at.
And so from a legal standpoint, you're comfortable with the Board of County Commissioners commenting on a current land use application?
I think to answer questions for the tenants about where we're headed beyond the location and extent. So my recommendation would probably be 1 or 2, and then we can have staff brief you of any key talking points.
I'd be going to listen rather than to talk.
Okay.
To listen to staff or listen to the public comment?
Both.
Public. Okay.
Now the whole thing's really confusing to me. What was the intent and purpose of setting up this meeting? I thought it was to talk about their leases and the process. I didn't think we were specifically just talking about extent and location.
You're
Location
correct.
is-
It's really a specific time for the tenants to talk about their leases, to talk just high level where we are at the process, what we do know and what we don't know at this time. So that's the intention. Staff will be there to carry it. The question is just if commissioners would like to attend or if you would prefer not to, and just staff to hold that discussion.
If it's better for staff, I'm happy not to go.
Okay.
I just thought it'd be a good check-in, and I don't mind going to listen.
Why don't, Greg, we'll get you connected with Ashley and Kevin and discuss
Right,
further.
we can sort that out. Great.
Okay,
Perfect.
sounds good.
I think we should see if Francie is interested in going with, rather than making the decision without her.
Okay, we will follow up.
Anything else, future agendas? EOTC's moved, and that's
Oh,
4 o'clock now?
I have not heard.
Oh, 3 o'clock
3 to
si-
6 o'clock, and we're looking at moving it into town. I believe, we're still confirming, but I believe city might be able to host so that everyone can walk across to Dunaway Room.
Who wants to go to the water meeting?
Yeah.
Is Snowmass is okay with that, moving it into town?
Mhm.
It's from the 23rd. I will
We're
not
just
be here.
confirming location.
3 to 6?
Correct.
Thank you. And do we need to publicly notice the river, state of the river then as well?
Yes, we will.
Awesome. Michelle's online, I saw. Yeah, thank you. I'm just stalling for 2 minutes. We can start early, though. Anything else, future agendas? Is David Knight coming in for a board interview? Or it just happens to be a D night?
I bet it maybe, or could be Melissa working from home.
Michelle, we're ready for you, and we'll have Charlotte give an introduction in terms of the Board of Health opening. We're moving on to Board of Health interview.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the afternoon of,
Yeah.
just say entertainment,
Thanks for
of
being here,
information.
Charlotte.
Okay, so we do have the first interview this afternoon is Michelle Michon, and she's interviewing for the Board of Health. We have Liz Stark and Krista Giesel, who are renewing their terms.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Liz is not going to be able to interview the 7th. She's out of town until the 15th, so wanted to ask you all if you wanted me to push her out like the 21st. I kind of wanted to bring all of the decisions back on the 7th, but we can postpone that if you want to wait. So,
Happy to push it back, as long as it
Well, I'm
doesn't
happy to
interfere with your
appoint her,
timeline.
so.
yeah, I was
you
wondering.
have an
I
app, yeah.
mean, we're kind of familiar with Liz, so.
Well, plus, you know, she got the great community health background, and she's a registered nurse, and she's just, I don't know. If the board feels we need to re-interview her, then we'll postpone everybody else. I'd rather just move things along, but not up to me.
Craig, you're the Board of Health guy.
Liz has been there forever. We're comfortable with her. You know, I want to give everybody a fair shake. I don't think there's anything new she's going to tell us. So I don't necessarily think we need an interview. We do know her well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's it. I'll let you ask Michelle some questions.
Welcome, thank you for joining us.
Thanks
who-
for having me.
Yeah, who wants to kick us off? Greg, you're the Board of Health guy.
Okay, I'll happily do it. I just didn't want to jump. Thank you for applying. First of all, I can't believe, if you have applied in the past, I don't recall, but I can't believe you haven't already, because you should have. And we're so glad you're applying. It's great to have people with your experience and you know, knowledge stepping up and offering to join the Board of Health. What's your particular interest in it? Do you see a need, or is it just interest? Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, I would say there's a little bit of history that accompanies the application. I had applied for the deputy director position for Health and Human Services, and did not advance in the round of interviewing, and a colleague mentioned to me that you know, she was sorry that I didn't get to scratch that itch, and that I should look into the Board of Health. And so I learned that there was an alternate position opening up, and I feel like it's the right time. I have time. I work for myself. I'm in private practice. Worked for the hospital for a long time, and would like to give back in some notable way. And I feel like this would be a great opportunity, specifically around mental health and housing instability, and also an interest in obviously what's going on in our government and the cuts to Medicaid, and seeing the impact in our community.
Just out of interest, how well do you know the current people that are sitting on the Board of Health?
I know them by name. I don't
Okay.
know any, I don't think I've ever met anyone personally.
Got it. No problem. No problem there. That's not a requirement or anything. And then what about staff at Public Health Department?
Oh yeah, I know Jordana Sabella, just because when I was at Aspen Valley Health for 9 years, I was a hospital representative for some of the programming that was developed around the co-responder grant and the mobile crisis contracts. I helped write those and participate in that, so I know Jordana well. And then socially, our kids ski race together, and interface with a lot of the Health and Human Services programming when I was staffed at the hospital.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. Really appreciate you applying.
Yeah, happy to.
I'll cede the floor.
Patty or Ted?
I'm good. You've got great credentials, and your expertise is in an area I think that would be beneficial to the Board of Health. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank
So
you.
I have the serious question. Do I have to read Michael Pollan's book on psilocybin, or should I skip right to consciousness?
I'm not going to make you read anything. But I will say, when I participated in that psilocybin study, it was fascinating, and that was before the really uptick of people being really particularly interested in psychedelic treatment these days. This happened 15, 20 years ago. So it is fascinating work. But you don't have to read the
Can I
book.
follow up on that
Yeah.
to say, where do you fall on that now? How does it feel to you now, watching what's happening with the popularity? You know, people are certainly talking a lot more about things like psilocybin, microdosing, all these things that I don't know if it's recreational or if it's self-medication or if it's supervised. Where do you come down on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's slightly concerning in that I think that there are a bunch of practitioners that maybe haven't had enough experience or exposure, and they're taking in clients and offering this type of treatment. That's concerning to me. With that said, there are a handful of practitioners that are very skilled and practiced, and I think if offered in the right controlled environment, and I've seen it work. I saw it when I was a study therapist years ago, and I've seen it in clients who I work with currently, where they're suffering from alcoholism or chronic depression, really a host of illnesses, where I've seen ketamine specifically work quite well. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm just opposed to the amount of providers that are providing care that aren't necessarily quite skilled enough yet.
Michelle,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. A more theoretical question. We've had 3 meetings over the past probably 4 to 6 weeks with high school students. The board put in a ban for flavored tobacco products, the second county in the state of Colorado. And then more recently, we met with a group of high school students, and they brought to us this Photo Voice project, and their concern was that their exposure on a daily basis is drugs and alcohol, whether that's the pizza store that's next to the marijuana dispensary, or even their water bottle that's stored in the same place that the wine rack is. And so part of the board's question coming out of these couple meetings was like, well, it's a little bit of a whack-a-mole. It's a little bit of, we feel like we're behind, even though it looks like, oh, we're the second county. We still have the state that's meanwhile, supplementing Philip Morris construction of new Zinn factories in the Front Range. And so I guess from your perspective, like, what else, either as a Board of Health potential representative or as a county, what other sort of proactive steps should we be taking as a community to ensure the health of our students?
I mean, I think maybe this is short-sighted. I'm a parent of an 11-year-old. I do think it starts in the home. Yeah. And in the time, I've lived in the Valley for 14 years and worked in the hospital a large chunk of that time. It seems that there's a permissiveness that is allowed from parents, and it's troubling. Some of this has been in the news, and certainly cases that came through the ER. So that would be, I need to give it some more thought, but what comes to mind and out of the gate is really education and FaceTime with community parents specifically, so they can learn about the impact more explicitly, and really what their allowances yield, right? What we're seeing is addiction, is high rates of depression, high rates of anxiety, and access. That's what comes up for me, is education and FaceTime with the people that, not necessarily parents, but the guardians, the people that are raising these children, all the children.
No, thank you. That's helpful. I think I don't know why, I think the board has a role too. I think there's a responsibility back at the board table that we have to take on as well. So thank you for that. Follow-up questions from Michelle?
Just one.
Ted?
Yeah, thank you for applying. I agree with the permissiveness in the Valley. It seems to be everywhere you look. I just wanted to, there's no wrong answer here, but like if you look at the county or even what Jeffrey's alluding to, us as a board, what do you think is something we could be doing better, just in general as a community? And I'm not trying to stump you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's a good question.
I'm always looking, because we never know our blind spots, and we all have them, and we think we know it all, or we're they're, and sometimes it takes a fresh set of eyes to have those pointed out. So that's, I guess, where I'm going, looking for my own blind spots to be identified.
Yeah, I'd have to think about it more specifically, but I guess one question that comes to mind is there outreach from the Board of Health? I mean, I know there's outreach from public health, from staff, but what kind of outreach exists from the Board of Health to the school district, to community members for what we call psychoeducation and literature and questions and data for families to see, for caretakers to see. Like, what comes to mind is I attended a seminar for the organization A Way Out recently, and there's a documentary that is out or coming out soon called Doom Scroll. And we're kind of veering off of the question of access and permissiveness around substance use, but it's kind of related in that screen time is really doing a number on our youth with high rates, right, of depression, anxiety. So what comes to mind is that documentary is out. Are we publicizing it? Is it, offered to community members to see the real impact, where kids are being interviewed and psychiatrists are being interviewed about let's call it not only a mental health crisis, but community health crisis for our adolescents.
Yeah, thank you. I can see how that would be.
So I think we have our first task. Given your background, we'd like you to rebuild CBMS for the state of Colorado.
Rebuild what?
CBMS is the antiquated system that controls services at the state level.
Oh.
And it's part of, I think you made the comment at the intro around changes vis-a-vis HR1, but you'd be joining the Public Health Board at an interesting time. It's not a crisis time like COVID, but there's certainly a financial crisis known as HR1, followed by state shifts known as shared services and redistricting, and again, sort of reduced funding at both the state and federal level. So it's an interesting time to be in the field that you're in. So again, I think we've all said it, but thanks for your interest and I appreciate you taking the time.
I have a logistics question.
Yeah.
This is our only applicant for this one vacancy, which is the at-large alternate.
Correct.
And we've already interviewed Christina, and we decided not to re-interview Liz. So can we just appoint right now, Michelle, and move that forward? Is that okay with the board, or since we have nobody we're going to interview? And I think just her expertise is in an area that might be missing a little on the board. It'd be great.
And I can make that
For the 7th,
notation, and then it'll be official on the 8th.
right?
Michelle, are you comfortable moving forward?
I would love to.
Awesome. Isn't that
Thank you.
like the best interview in the world? It's like immediate feedback.
Yeah, I don't even know why I was nervous.
We're not. We're kind of fun to come before you. You'll see more of us in the future.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we
Thank you.
look forward to working with you, and really appreciate your time.
Me too. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for all
You
you
too.
do.
Good
you.
to see you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Next interview, you wanna come up? No? You can sit there. So Joan is here, applying for a spot on the Airport Advisory Board. Everyone is currently renewing. We've got Howie, Bruce Gordon, who you interviewed last week. Howie will be interviewed on the 7th, and then Lara Whitley. So there are actually no openings, but we were required to open that up
Yeah.
to the public.
Excellent. Joan, welcome. Joan or Joni?
Thank you. You may not recognize me without my big red glasses, but I just had cataract surgery, and I
yay.
have 20/20 now
Well done.
with Emily Sanders, Dr. Emily Sanders. So I'm celebrating 20/20.
Wonderful.
Good for you.
Excellent.
And it's Joni. You
Yes.
prefer Joni.
Joni.
Yeah.
Thank you. Would anyone like to start?
Ask you, opening statement, what interests you?
Well, everything in Aspen interests me. And right now, the airport is so very, very important. It's one of the key issues to our community right now. And day by day, we're getting more information and more development and more schedules coming available, more design elements to review. More grants and budgets to try and balance, and public awareness, to support this and understand it and support it. So, having been a good friend of Betty Pfister, one of our first ladies that built our airport and flew us up in little helicopters and was my dearest friend. And worked, of course, with Bruce Gordon and all our gang to get all these things going with the environmental flights that Bruce does. With John Denver's organization, which I was on the board of trustees with, so that's my cultural love and understanding of what's going on with flight and the center of our town with this airport that's essential in every element of design. And I've worked closely with the Rocky Mountain Institute, built my own solar house with permaculture in Aspen. So with systems design, I've been doing that for 50 years with all our great people in this community. So I just am very, very, very interested in the many ways I could help support this dialogue, understand, make a film. I did a film on forks over knives and the China study for the health board that is important. But I just wanted to offer my support as a 50-year-old citizen here. Been here for 50 years.
Thank you.
So Joni, did you apply to either of the task forces? Did you apply to either of the task forces
You
previously?
Airport task forces.
No, this is my first time.
What have you served on for the county so far?
Well, I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission in
For the city?
'74 and wrote, for the city, and wrote the growth management plan at that time.
She's an alternate for the Healthy Community.
Yes, I'm also on, yes, for that.
That's what I thought you were on one.
Thank you, Joni, for applying. It's always fun to see you. Thank you.
Always great to see all of you in person, because I watch you at home all night.
Oh, God.
I love the resume.
For
Every
things
time-
I've missed.
Every time I read it, I see something new that jumps out of it. Like,
Every time you meet her, there's something new, too. She's
yeah, I
full
imagine
of energy.
we haven't met, but I imagine that's how it would be to just.
When I moved here in '71, my boyfriend at that time was Stacy Stanley, who was our youngest mayor in the history of America. We were 27. And our bumper sticker was, "Do not Californicate Colorado." And that's when I was appointed to P&Z and started writing the growth management plan right away. And he lived at the Pepke house. So I lived with Elizabeth Pepke my first number of years here. I had that blessing.
Yeah, that's a
And
treasure.
one of the reasons Mike Stranahan and I are doing the Soul of Aspen show on Grassroots YouTube is to bring all of this to the table and celebrate it again.
So two of the responsibilities of the Airport Advisory Board, one is financial and the other one is sort of more on the sustainability side. Where do you think you would lend the most weight to the board?
Well, on both sides, because I've practiced sustainability here and in Bali and around the world, and sustainability is a financial situation every time. You're looking at options. What are the triple bottom lines? How do you get to net zero on things? Those are finances. So sustainability, I'm in deep. But also with the finances, it's always a balance and more learning and how do you balance where you want to go.
Questions? Greg?
Only is there a specific, any burning desire to do something with the airport board or with the airport? Is there any particular single thing that sticks out that really drives you?
Yes, I'm confident with all the input we have, especially having RMI here, with the design elements of it. But having been a wellness practitioner all my life, in 1979, when Stacy and I took the first group of climbers with Dick Jackson up to Mount Himalchuli in the Himalayas to make sure that we put clinics together for the Sherpas there. I've been doing that all my life now. And, I was everybody's doctors on all those trips. So, health and wellness, and then being with Burton Goldberg, and we started the alternative medicine movement and practice here in Aspen, and wrote all the books and did all the films and sent everything to Congress, went to Congress, did policy. The practical and the financial, looking at healthcare, that the biggest costs were things we didn't even realize, and how many people just died of, drug interactions, bringing all that to the surface. And then I was blessed to work with the other South Dakota guy here in Aspen, Dr. Dave Jensen, and his late wife Dee, when we started the Wynn Health Institute in the Mid-Valley, and brought the most sustainable building at that time, and then bringing the best of East and Western medicine together under one roof. I was part of that. Building, operational, marketing, media, telemed, and at that time, I had brought my sister from South Dakota, who was Tom Daschle's chief of staff. And Tom was supposed to run for president, and he said, no, Obama should. So he and Oprah had a little meeting and got together with Obama and put him into office. And what Tom wanted to do was be the Department of Health. And he was going to use our Wynn Health Institute as the model for healthcare in America. So that's how deep I am into systems and design, and from the policy to here, and taking the blessings that Elizabeth Pepke gave me in every moment of her life that she shared with me to continue keeping Aspen. The body, mind, spirit.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joni. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bless you all.
Be in touch. Okay, next we have Doug Brown.
Come on, Doug.
Hi.
Hi.
I should make a disclosure.
Hi.
So we have a disclosure
I
before
kind of
Mr.
have a conflict, it looks like, with some of these people.
I just want to make the disclosure. I've known Doug since what, 5th grade or 7th grade? We were college roommates. We've been friends. We've skied around Europe together, and we've in South America, and we disagree constantly on so many things.
But we still get together
But we
to
still get
disagree.
together, and we're friends. So I just want to point that out. So Doug's a longtime friend of mine, and if I could, I'd love to ask the first question. You can have an opening statement, but my first question is, you're a man of few words, looking at the answers to your...
Thanks.
Which, okay, I'll leave it at that.
I don't think I have a conflict, but I haven't researched the rest of the family history as far as who married whom and
Kids,
who was
right.
children of. And so since I'm the out-of-state blood for the Clapper family, I think Doug and I are okay, even though I've known Doug for, I think, all the years I've been here. But and I love seeing Doug when we're having P&Z meetings in this room, running in to come to it. It's kind of the only time I get to see him anymore is up and down this hallway out here. So thank you for your service so far on P&Z. I know you have a lot of challenges. Is there anything that this board can do to make your job on P&Z easier,
Not that I'm aware of.
other than not appoint you?
Right, exactly. Yeah, term limit me or something. No, I don't have any knowledge of, how what you guys do would affect how we, I think that the direction comes from you guys to approve things so that it can move on to you, and I think that's appropriate, and so.
You guys have done a lot of work, and again, we really appreciate the time you've been putting in. Thank you.
Is there an opportunity we should come together as two boards? Is there some place where we should be syncing up in terms of the conversation outside? We kept the growth plan intentionally separate from an approval process standpoint, state statute, but we haven't seen you guys in a while. And so one of the comments from another renewing applicant was spending some more time with P&Z. But really the question is, what would you like to come together over?
I think excuse me, I think the comp plan is something that, we're working through it now. It's 95% very clear-cut and simple and a unanimous approval, but there's a couple of issues between the, as far as getting the final language worked out with the comp plan, and that's kind of where we are. And once we get through that, we'll approve it, I would assume, and move it on to you guys. And I think it's important that you guys are aware of the areas where we feel like it was a challenge to get through, because so much of it is so clear-cut, easy, simple. There's literally, a couple of sentences.
Cool.
It's good to hear.
Thank you for dotting i's for us. Appreciate it. Greg?
I'd love to hear more about specifics, but
I don't know, guys.
yeah, any other specifics on we've talked about it. I remember you've mentioned things. I'm trying to remember.
I'm
what.
not so sure. I mean, is this the appropriate? I mean,
Well-
the P&Z is supposed to work.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
here's
is
the
a-
question.
I
then.
think we're sticking to really the opportunity to come together. What would the subjects be?
Oh, I see.
Right, thank you.
Rather than here are
Your
the three
specific
lines
issues.
that we're fine tuning over the comp plan before it comes back to you. Because we'll hear that as well. So I appreciate it.
No, I don't see any other necessity at this point, to come together. It's kind of, to me, they're, we're, in a hierarchy, you're the higher part, we're trying to give you good information to decide on, or whatever the word is.
But status quo is good. 7 people's working. Quorum's easy to make.
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. It seems to be working out. We're able to get a quorum, and we've added meetings, and there don't seem to be a problem.
Yeah.
And the board works, the P&Z works well together, I believe.
It's a good group.
Any training or anything else you guys need in your quiver? Whether it's open
No,
meetings
how
laws
many,
or...
how many years have I been on it?
Yeah, I'm just asking.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm asking that
Yeah.
question. I mean, is it a 3-year term? Is it a 4-year term? 3-year term? So, I feel sort of like know what I'm doing a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And that took a couple of years anyway, and that might be just who I am.
Yeah.
So no, I don't see how more information from me is gonna change the way that I approach it.
Thank you.
I get the information that's presented, and I try and read it and understand it, so I can talk about it when I come to the meeting.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
I
meet
love
you.
the idea that you were given 2 years to learn the role. I'll keep that in mind.
Right. Or 3.
It only counts for P&Z.
But just the fact that you're here reapplying, and it seems like it's a challenging role, but you're back for more. And I don't think I like to break things up in terms of continuity, especially with the big process that's going on right now. So the other questions is very informative. So I'm good, and I look forward to talking with you outside of the room.
Great.
I mean, really, this was an opportunity for you to come in and either reflect on what you'd like to see from the board, either from the county commissioners, or something you'd like us to look at in terms of how can we make P&Z operate even more effectively. We've heard obviously feedback on GMQS as we get those applications back to us. So that's, I think, on all 5 of us understand that that's a continued debate in terms of paying for square footage. So we'll see after the comp plan where that.
Yeah, that
program is.
actually isn't the where
It's a
we're-
whole beast amongst itself.
It's not where we're tied up at the
Yeah,
comp plan
no,
at
understood.
this point. But that's obviously a big issue, and there's some GMQS that's coming forward in the next couple of meetings,
Yeah.
and maybe or hopefully that system gets simplified, or I don't know what I said from the beginning with growth, community, whatever, what was the acronym, community growth, whatever it was. It's like, yeah, let's make it simple. No way. It's just not going to be simple, and I've said that from the beginning. There's way too much in there to make it simple,
Wishful
and there's
thinking.
too many goals. So the goal to make it simple is, in my opinion, unachievable.
Can I?
Craig, last question.
unless Kara wants to jump in. So what's your feeling about the state of the county and where we're going and where we are vis-a-vis development? And, you know, people get on these committees because they have a passion for something. And I'd just love to hear what you can share with us.
You know, the community's growing and changing, and you know, I talk to people all the time, and they say, "Oh, you've seen a lot of change." The whole world's changed. So the fact that Aspen's changed is no different than any place at Picken County has changed. You know, something that was never brought up at community growth. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyway, was, you know, a carrying capacity.
That's
I
what she
wish
was-
there was some discussion at some level at some point about carrying capacity. I mean,
Yeah.
there's never, that I'm aware of, it's never addressed. And we're in a finite resource, the world's a finite resource, so, you know, I think that carrying capacity needs to be thought about at some point. I don't have an answer, but, there doesn't seem to be any discussion or whatever about, here's build out, you know.
Right.
I sit on water and sand at Snowmass, and Snowmass has a build-out number that I've been very strongly supportive of from water and sand's perspective as far as the amount of water that we can provide housing. And I've made it a goal to make that number concrete and continue to use. And so to some extent, you know, there is a carrying capacity in Snowmass, which I think is a good thing. It's not something that's been discussed that I'm aware of in the county.
Thanks for that.
Thanks, Doug.
Put that on our bucket list.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be
Been on our bucket list for 20 years.
April 7th, and I'll let you know.
It's nice to
Great,
be reminded.
thanks.
Capacity.
I'll know then if I passed, if I get re-upped.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole.
Nicole. So Nicole is here and has applied for a position on the
The
animal
perfect
shelter.
skirt. That is perfect.
And I already owned it. I didn't specifically buy it for this.
Got
so-
dogs all over it.
Oh, yeah?
You're hired.
Okay, I'll take it.
You look the part.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the time she applied, we didn't know if Yasmin was going to renew her term, and I've talked to her since, and she's just traveling too much, so she agreed to give up her position, so we do have a vacancy for the county. What's that? Well, April 7th is when, or April 8th is when the resolution is formalized, but yeah.
Well, do you want to do an intro, or do you want us to pepper you with questions?
I can do an intro. My name's Nicole Vandeboom. I think most of you got a letter from me the other week about safe passages, and Greg, you kindly suggested that I send it to the papers, and they were Aspen Times was lovely enough to publish it. I'm currently getting my master's degree in animal law, and so animals are obviously a huge passion of mine, and not only in just taking care of them, but really advocating for them through a legal and legislative manner. I have 6 animals at my house. I have 2 bunnies that we rescued from Illinois. We have a hamster, which I think might actually be a rodent because he's living very long, way longer than hamsters are supposed to live, so we're convinced that we were given the wrong thing, but
That's
my
great.
son is happy.
Pack rat disguised as a hamster?
Yes, and he's huge, and he's a big chunky guy, and he's so happy, and we thought it was going to be like a small tragedy within like 12 months, and that guy is like 2 years later still kicking, so yeah, so we might have a rat, I'm not sure. We also have 3 dogs, and 2 of them I rescued from 2 different humane societies here in Colorado. One was Telluride Humane Society, and the other was Bounce Rescue. So I'm pretty familiar just with the rescue process and companion animals. I also have a certificate in dog emotion and cognition through Duke University, which they have a dognition lab where they do a lot of studies with companion dogs and just kind of studying all the behaviors and their cognition. So I really am a passionate animal advocate. I've been doing nonprofit work in various industries for the last 15 years, from refugees to intellectual and developmental disabilities to animals to regenerative farming to educational ones. And when I saw that this position opened up, I just felt like it was a really good time in my life. And with getting this law degree, kind of felt like the perfect way to start applying that a little bit.
So, opening question for you then.
Mhm.
Given you're getting a law degree and your interest in animals, are you following the Pomeranian bill? The
I,
whole room's like, what?
I have not seen that. Is that here in
Jeffrey,
Colorado?
you need a life if you're following the Pomeranian bill.
Is that here in Colorado or?
State of Colorado currently has a Pomeranian bill. Man, we didn't get
We
that
can
on
leave
tape.
that off.
I want to hear it now.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
State of Colorado has a Pomeranian bill. I think the first gentleman has a Pomeranian.
Okay, yeah.
The bill would prohibit pet stores from selling dogs and cats. So you'd have to go to an animal shelter
Well-
to get your dogs and cats.
I would be in favor of that, so.
See, it was a good question.
Yeah, that would be up my alley to support that. You know, I still stay in contact with the founder of Telluride Humane Society, and we pick each other's brains a lot, and, you know, I know the type of stuff she sees with these animals that she's trying to find homes for, and some of the situations and backyard breeders, and just, it's heartbreaking. So, yeah, I, without looking further into that bill currently, as you
Yeah.
present it to me, I would be supportive of it.
Thank you. Yeah, this board has not taken a position. It was the first time it came to this board.
Okay.
So they were equally as surprised with the bill. Yeah, yeah. The board's about to take position
Yeah.
on the wildlife
It
crossing bill.
changed the name to the Labrador bill from the Pomeranian.
Has it?
No, I don't know.
Golden Retriever bill.
May I?
Please, please.
I think it's great. I think your credentials are, I mean, it was really fun to read. Do you have office hours? Because I have a dog that needs some therapy. She's very unusual
I
animal.
think you should go together.
Yeah, the two of us. Yeah.
My three dogs are very high energy and crazy too, so we could maybe just get a coffee and commiserate on our
And let them
crazy
run around
rescue
together.
dogs.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for applying. And I just, you know, the animal shelter is the most incredible place with the most incredible manager. I mean, Seth is just a wealth in all directions. So I think it's great. I think your addition to this board would be really fun for them and really fun for you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Patty, Greg, sorry.
I was just thinking, you've got so many animals. If you were to go to a meeting out at the animal shelter, you'd probably be half the animals there. And I'm just wondering, you don't expect to get a discount, a bulk discount on
Bulk.
boarding or anything?
My husband actually
Chow.
said, I'll support you applying for this as long as you promise not to come home with any more dogs from the shelter. So that was our deal, because he said the inn is full because we have 6 animals. So
But there's always a cat or two out there.
that's true. I don't have them all covered. I don't have any farm animals. So there's room to grow.
Well, great. No, I appreciate you signing up, and your passion is evident, and thank you.
Thank you.
Judging from the board response and the conversation, Patty would like to move forward with this applicant at this
We
time.
don't have anybody else applying?
No.
And are we gonna re-interview Marie or just?
No.
So the
yeah.
deadline's already passed and Yasmin is not renewing. It sounds like the board would like to move forward
love
with
to put you
Nicole
on
at
the
this
board.
time.
Thank you.
Is that okay? Or
Yeah.
we can string it out another couple minutes. We have,
No,
If you
that's
brought the
okay.
animals in, I'd like to meet them, you know.
We should have did that. That's why I did the skirt, because it was
Especially
as
the-
close
You
as I
might
could
end up
get.
taking
Especially
one
the
or two
hamster.
home.
Oh, yeah, the hamster,
rodent.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
well,
Thanks.
thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
That's great.
Okay.
We could also at maybe the end make a decision on P and Z since we've interviewed everybody, haven't we?
Yes.
Keep it moving. I like that.
It's the AAB we still have open to interviews.
Well, I mean,
Terry,
applications are
Terry
closed.
Parch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry.
Hi.
You can sit in the middle too. It's just like, for some reason, people are scared. That's-
Everybody avoids the middle. Too much attention.
Never trust someone with a center part, you know? It's
Okay.
very welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, open space and trails. We still-
Open Space and Trails has a renewal for District 5. And you have already interviewed Mr. Ives. And we have 2 other people who both live in District 5 who have applied for Open Space and Trails.
Any potential conflicts given your current employer in the Valley?
No, I work for Jacobs Engineering, and we do civil work. You guys are probably aware of some of our work with the entrance to Aspen, but it really doesn't relate to the trails, and or I guess there is a trail aspect to the entrance to Aspen, but I'm really not involved on the team, so I feel like I could represent my district well.
Yeah. And why the interest in, of all of our boards, why Open Space and Trails?
You know, it's really my family's passion and reason for being in the mountains. You know, we've always loved backpacking. I've been backpacking with my kids since they were 6 months old. We really haven't missed a year, and we loved living where we recreate. And I guess we've explored a good part of the county already, and we really just enjoy the trails. It's our reason for being here, and I'd love to be a part of maintaining and protecting and doing what I can to advocate for trails.
Do you have a preconceived notion about electronic bicycles versus acoustic bicycles?
Oh, you know, I was a city engineer for Glenwood for a number of years, and I remember the debate about the trails on the Rio Grande in Glenwood. And a woman who worked for me had a very strong opinion about how fast electric bicycles could go. And there were some conflicts on our trails, you know, between electric bicycle users and others. It wasn't, in my mind, it wasn't a huge issue. Like it wasn't constant, I guess. But I do believe that there's a safety issue there that should be explored. And I don't have a strong opinion about what it is. I feel like, you know, probably an obvious way to look at it is to restrict speed to some degree, so they're more equivalent to the pedestrians. But that's a feeling without data.
How do you think we're doing in terms of conservation? So we've talked a little bit about trails. Where do you think we are in terms of conservation in the Valley?
I think you guys are doing a great job. I think there are a lot of trails and a lot of options for people to be outside. I think as people who live here, you know, we always appreciate, you know, more. But I think, you know, compared to other people and you know, other areas, Pitkin County is an amazing place to live.
Additional questions?
Question for Charlotte, or anybody else who might know. Are these districts, so you live in Redstone, correct?
I live in Redstone, yes.
And so you're a county resident, your Lower Valley, is that a criteria? I think Wayne is currently in that position.
Yes, it's
Was
District
it
5.
It's for the District 5 seat
Yes.
on the Open Space Board, so that's the only one that's open.
Correct.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for applying, and appreciate hearing about you. Your work history is amazing. I think you could lend a lot of expertise in any conversation regarding trails, open space, you know, management of these lands. It's great to have you as a resource. So I don't have a specific question other than maybe to throw one at you. What about the Redstone to McClure Pass Bike Trail? Or Crested Butte Trail? It's the Carbondale to Crested Butte Trail. And then also we've got a lot of conversation about e-bikes on public lands, and wondering how do you feel about that? Maybe those are two questions.
Yeah. You know, my husband and I were very interested in the Carbondale to McClure Pass Trail. You know, we live just a mile past Redstone on the right, Crystal River Park. I always get those subdivision names mixed up, but you know, we're honestly hopeful that sometime in the future we'll be able to, you know, take our bikes and pedal into town. you know, we can do it on the road, but boy, do I think that it would be great for all of the residents up and down that valley to be able to move around without having to be, you know, on the highway. I know there are private property issues and concerns there, but I honestly hope that, you know, there's some way, some compromise that can be made to get that trail through. I think that, you know, the Rio Grande Trail has been an amazing asset for the Roaring Fork Valley, and I hope that we're able to do the same for the Crystal River Valley.
Great, thanks. And then e-bikes in BLM lands or other.
You know, I gotta say, I don't ride an e-bike myself. I have just a regular bike, and I understand where the conflict in users comes from. We do have a friend who rides an e-bike, and he asserts his rights wherever he goes. You know, whatever public agency is involved, he tries to, you know, say, you know, it's for his health, and he does have some health issues that would, you know, help or would be improved by riding an electric bike as opposed to a manual bike. So I can see it from both sides. You know, more access for people, no matter what their health condition is. You know, if they're more comfortable riding an e-bike, maybe it's something that it should be included. But I do think that there has to be compromise. You know, both, you know, types of trail users need to be accommodated. You know, as I said earlier, I had a coworker who was kind of terrified by them, and, you know, very afraid of that kind of conflict. And I don't think you can exclude either party. There has to be a compromise in the middle. You know, maybe it's speed, or there could be some other measure that could be taken. But yeah.
What do you think the biggest challenge is right now for open space and trails in Pitkin? And I can add more to that if it helps. So meaning, given where we are with federal lands and federal management, what else could Pitkin be doing, you know, to improve where we live?
You know, I think
Wasn't a political question, I swear.
Yeah, I do think that that management and maybe control of those lands is important. You know, I have heard of various different things that have occurred nationally. You know, most recently with the NCAR facility in Boulder, where, you know, the current administration is interested in giving that up for private use or whatever. And I do think that that's a threat to our federal lands, and I hope that not only Pitkin County, but Colorado and, you know, other state agencies that are really interested in making sure that those that access remains, that those lands remain pristine, come up with a plan to hopefully keep those lands in public use is what I would ask for, or what I would advocate for and try to help you with.
Thank you. We would advocate the same. The IMP building, though, just scares me. It's always scared me. It's
Yeah.
Really?
There's just, I don't know if it's brutalism scares me or just that much concrete scares me.
Oh, you mean the NCAR building in Boulder?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's iconic for sure, and you know, good and bad depending on your perspective.
Yeah.
But I went to school there, and it was one of my favorite trailheads.
Yeah.
So I guess I view it that way.
That's funny. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a lot of good questions asked. I was thinking of Francie, who's not sitting here, who is from District 5, who would probably, what would she ask? And it would be something along the lines of the questions that we just had. She's not a trail person necessarily, but I think you actually answered everything really well without her even being here to press you.
Good. I'm glad. I've never met Francine, but
Yeah,
I'd like
'cause
to.
we like the trails, but the balance is what's key, and we can't have. So, as we went through all this, I thought, wow, I think you actually covered it all. I don't have to add anything. Thank you for applying.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to. I hope you consider me, and thank you.
Likewise. Thanks for your time.
Of
Appreciate
course.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as well.
Thank you.
you.
You even got architecture questions in. Isn't that cool?
Maybe for you.
Allison.
Do you want to move to the middle? You want to be the
You can-
oddball?
You can,
Come on, let's do it.
as
up.
lo- yeah.
And that one's on.
Come on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you again. Allison
I think
Richmond.
you're going to kick it off. I don't even think we're going to ask you questions. You-
Oh.
you-
Come on, this young lady, I think she deserves the seat. She's pretty
she-
knowledgeable.
She was great, yeah. Thank you. You want to kick us off?
No.
Sure?
Yeah.
Ted, you can open it up.
Well, good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
I mean, you just heard, this is similar, you're in District 5 for open space, and we just had a whole bunch of, conversation. So, like, just following up on that, your take on, the advent of e-bikes moving into further places and how we manage that, and thoughts on where they do or don't belong, or anything, what's your general take on that?
Sure, just to remind you, I live in Holland Hills, which is also in District 5. There's an easement through our property. So as e-bikes go, there is a lot of noise that pops up around there from our residents. We have an older crowd that lives there, and speed is an issue. There's kids, there's, animals, there's dogs and so on. My personal opinion is we do have to figure out how to share the road. It is going to happen, and putting e-bikes in general on with people that are tourists coming in on the regular highways is not a very good idea. But to limit speed, I think, is very important, and to try to figure out how to get people to announce as they pass. Just using your old school words, that you're there to help people understand that you're coming up at 45 miles an hour and you're whizzing by them, a dog on a leash, extendo, or this and that, those kinds of things. Just communication in general. I know there's a lot of signs on the trails, but speed is definitely a factor, and announcing. But I think there is a way to work within e-bikes, partially assisted bikes, regular bikes, and so on, just like Town of Snowmass Village is working on that as well. I think it's a difficult thing, being on a trail up in a mountain. No, I don't think a full assist bike should be there. But a paved trail for people to get from one section of the county to another fairly quickly, or go get groceries, and we're trying to encourage that, right, to get people out of their cars. E-bikes are become essential. It's a way to move the people that have autonomy. They don't have to be stuck on a bus. I think it's a debatable situation, and it's going to be forced on whoever's on that board and or yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have two multiple components, but there's a transportation issue, there's a recreation issue. They both have speeds. And you might say they all could be managed if you just had responsible riders out there. Maybe that's what you're kind of getting at. But sometimes I wonder if it's reasonable to rely on just telling everyone to be responsible riders. Is that enough? I don't know what else we can really do as these bikes change and get harder to even tell what kind of bike it is. But, you have plenty of fast pedal bikers. You have plenty of irresponsible skiers. And it's more of like a campaign, I think, sometimes to
That's correct. It's the
get
conundrum that you're
across.
looking at.
If we could all just behave properly, then it would be safe.
Right.
Anyway.
And if you don't end up allowing it, people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then where are you?
So it's lots to unpack, but that's
Yeah,
coming.
it is.
Yeah,
So changing gears slightly,
that's a good one. Yeah. I haven't heard all his jokes. These are.
Yeah, you'll hear them.
Yeah. Okay.
so we're talking water a lot, and so interested in your work with the ditch. And
Yes.
State of the ditch.
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. We opened up the Kester Ditch, which runs off the old Snowmass Creek.
Yeah.
We also just on Monday, which was yesterday, finally opened up the Arbany Ditch, which is a little bit of a work in progress. We redid the head gate. We managed to keep cost really low. The flow rate into it is a little bit difficult because there's a diversion off of, I think it's Alex Kellogg's property. He's very nice to let us use that. Yeah. And the ditch is already running very low, to be completely honest. So we're very concerned about how much water will flow downstream.
Yeah.
The Roaring Fork Club's at the end of it, or really there's one more guy down there, Myers.
Yeah.
But in Holland Hills specifically, we don't have a way of capturing the water. We have 79 shares of the water, but we just irrigate off 2.5 horsepower pumps. We still couldn't probably use our shares even if we irrigated all day long. But the water flow is very low, and we're really concerned about August, if not even before that.
And we don't have the irrigators even out yet, so.
Roaring Fork Club's already up and running. They're filling a Pond 18, which comes off the Albany, and the lower pond so that they can function. Roaring Fork Meadows before me at Hoagland, they've got subsequent ponds in there that they could still irrigate from. You could lift water out of there. But Holland Hills and some of the others are just a rinky-dink from the 70s or the 60s. Pumps that are put in, and it's running on a ditch that is very, very, very well maintained.
Yeah.
But capturing the water is very difficult.
Do you have an augmentation plan as well?
We're working on that. We finally have our president up and running who really cares and wants to do it. We kind of had a 7-year lapse of someone who didn't really take care of anything, so we've missed some motion in that.
Yeah.
But
The
it's
new
all back.
chair of RWAPA sitting behind you. That's
Oh.
right. Yeah. Director of RWAPA,
I love
The
it.
chair.
Patty.
Could I bring us back to your applying for
Open
the
space.
and
This
trails?
was water. This was we irrigate.
No,
We
that's
worry
Healthy
about
Rivers and Streams does water. This is
open space
and
needs
trails.
water.
I like seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you're not appointed to this board, we want to keep you involved.
Oh, I will keep coming back at you if you don't realize that. There's some boards that just really, it's not that I wouldn't want to participate, but if it's not my forte, I'm not going to waste your time. No offense. I mean,
Do we have any openings? You know what's really the fun board? Is the senior board.
I love seniors.
And we do have openings always.
It's really fun.
Oh, okay, okay.
Talk to Charlotte. They have a great time. It's a great group of people. You learn so much about the community sitting at their meetings because they all tell stories about the history. It's really a good group.
Well, that's good to know because sometimes you just read it in the paper, you know, board for P&Z, and I'm like, well, I don't have a background in that, but I mean, I have an opinion, but not a background. So that's very good to know. I will continue
Check
to.
with Charlotte. But
I
thank
will
you. It's
do
so
that.
great to see you again.
Great to see you guys. One day I'll have your seat, maybe.
The other offer, Allison.
Could be up in
is-
2 years for
Yeah,
District
I'll go to
5.
Greg and then I'll come back to myself. Greg,
We'll
please.
see.
This is the conversation about the e-bikes, and you know, it's responsibility. It's also information. A lot of people just don't know. Maybe they haven't thought about it. But we had a previous conversation about e-bikes up on in the backcountry. You made a comment, but to me, it's a matter of compromise. But who is the compromise between up in the high country? You know, e-bikes in the high country. There's discussion of compromise of whether it's trail users. It seems like it's been played as a human compromise, and I don't think that's complete.
I don't think that's complete either. And I don't believe that a fully assisted bike should be in the backcountry for any such reason. People already bring ATVs or side-by-sides or whatever you call them back there where they shouldn't be. And I just feel that we should preserve the land the best we can. You have something that has a motor in it, people start taking advantage of trail areas. You know, you can put signs up, don't walk over here, trying to regenerate the land over here, and people will still do it. So I think if you give them an assisted bike, they're going to be in places that they're not supposed to be. And then it's going to fall downstream. You're going to have a rescue situation and put people's lives in jeopardy that are going out there to help this person who didn't think about what their actions are.
I also wanted to just say, I'm looking at your chef resume, and I'm thinking, well, are you going to cater the open space
I
meetings?
should.
Like, you know, or
Should've
at least
brought you
our
something
joint
today.
meetings. You know, it's really impressive. It's fun to
you.
read that. But thank you for that, and I appreciate it. And I was thinking about, I thought immediately of the Weed Advisory Board. Does that still exist?
No, it was coming back
It's
to us.
gone.
It's going to be the Board of Commissioners that takes over the weed advisory.
Oh,
board.
so we're taking it over, according to Patty.
You'll get to do that.
We've talked about it in the past. It's not according to me. We as a board already discussed it.
Allison, we'll take the action of joining you for lunch at the senior center.
Great. I'm in.
Introducing you to Lindsay and introducing you to the chef there.
Let's do it.
And you would be surprised. I think I will not try to pre-sell you, but it's one of those hidden assets in Pitkin and services that some people don't know we provide, and it's worth going up.
People also don't know that the food at this hospital is really good and inexpensive. Don't tell everyone.
Yeah. Well, they charge you more if you're at the senior center and you're under 60. They charge you more.
Oh, I'm so close.
But
As they
if you're from the 60s, they charge you less. Sorry, that was an old joke.
Thank you for coming.
You're very welcome. We will see you again.
Thanks, Allison.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see
Thank you.
on the 7th.
Paula Stepp, you're the next contestant.
What is she applying for? What are you applying
Yours.
for? Let's get you on a
I'm like,
board.
God, that name is just so familiar.
Oh, I did my community
I know
service.
you did.
Haven't seen you in 21 hours.
I know. Well, I'm getting around now.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
We'll let you take it away. I mean, I think
Great.
it's the first time, and sorry, Ted Mann's our new,
Ted, how are you? Paula?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you know everyone then? Yes.
Patty and I have met in the past. Craig and I know each other. Now I know you pretty well, and now I know Ted.
Yeah.
But not Kara. Okay.
Francie's not here today, and she's not online this afternoon, but you've probably met Francie at some
I think so.
a river meeting somewhere. or
Yeah,
something.
coming
River
and going
District.
in that. Yeah. This is awkward having your face in front of you.
I know.
Zoom meeting. Paula Stepp, and I just took over from April Long for the Rudai Water and Power Authority as the executive director. And although Greg has said take it easy, I'm drinking from the fire hose a little bit right now, trying to understand all the different aspects of history of RUWAPA, and as well as just all of the most important things that should be at the top of the list right now for what we're looking at. I've been to one board meeting. We meet quarterly, and Greg is our representative there. Other entities that are on that board are all either municipal or county. So we have Eagle County on that board, and then Aspen, Snowmass, Basalt, Carbondale, and Glenwood. So they all participate. Like I said, what I've been doing is just going meeting to meeting and figuring out what's going on. But the big things that we are looking at, well, let me go back into my history a little bit. Some of you know, in 2018, I ran for Garfield County Commissioner. Got close, didn't get it. It's a tough county to win in. But as a result of that, I kind of got immersed in the water field. Became very interested in the topic, spent a lot of time talking to water experts about what we're looking at the arid west and what kind of things that we can do about it. My role with then transitioned to, I decided to go on to Glenwood Springs City Council. In my role there, I took the position on the RUWAPA board after a year or two, realizing kind of where that emphasis was. At the same time, I also took on a position with Middle Colorado Watershed Council as their executive director. So definitely been in the water world. It's all been since 2018, other than enjoying our local rivers. So I came into this position after a year of being on Colorado Basin roundtables as their outreach and education coordinator. And April reached out to me because she was the chair on that. And she said, I'm thinking of leaving RUWAPA. I think you'd be a great candidate. So I had a chance to interview with the board, and here I am. So big picture for RUWAPA right now is obviously the what we're looking at with snowpack this year and what that means for the Roaring Fork watershed, what we can do as far as working together in the valley for conservation this year for the lack of water. A few years ago, April had worked on a program with all the different municipalities of a coordinated watering plan, and that was followed by support from Pitkin County Healthy Rivers to get an outreach and education kind of plan together to say, here's what the watering plan is. Kind of hit some walls because talking to the cities after putting the plan together with approval from the cities, they kind of went, wait, we're not quite sure this is where we want to go right now. That's the way I understand it. Now we're going to restart it again. I've gotten approval from Pitkin County Healthy Rivers to go ahead and continue using that funding for an outreach campaign, and now I'm trying to get
the cities together to see how we can market that message of conserving water without having an actual coordinated, here's the absolute watering plan from Aspen to Glenwood, because they all have what they feel is best for them. So I'm working on that right now. The other big thing, and you got, this is kind of where my name came up last week, just last week, is the infestation with zebra mussels and New Zealand mud snails. So I'm working with Roaring Fork Conservancy, CPW, and U.S. Forest Service kind of on what we're going to do this year with that. I was here a little bit early because I was up all morning at Rudeye Reservoir to look at some boat ramp problems and discuss some stuff with the Forest Service regarding that program. And then the last thing that's kind of come up within the last few weeks, and I haven't even talked to Greg about this yet, is in 2018 when we had this similar kind of situation with drought and the low snowpack, and then again in 2022, there was an organized commitment to reserve some of the contract water in Rudeye Reservoir so that it could be released when we need it later in the summer. So I'm working again with the same constituents to see if we can make that happen again with some of that contracted water. So my position is working with Bureau of Reclamation and those contractees. Big picture for all of you is we are going to reinstitute the Roaring Fork Collaborative meetings, which is our key stakeholders in the area, all of the municipal and county entities that we represent, and have us come together with other stakeholders and talk about these three problems. I've finally gotten commitment from some presenters, and it looks like May 7th, which is a Thursday, is going to work out for the presenters. Now I need to find a facility and then start getting invitations out for this first collaborative meeting. So those are kind of big picture. I can give you a little more detail on the what we've looked at with the invasive species. I think you got a pretty good story on that last week, probably, with what Pitkin County Open Space talked about. I can tell you a little bit more on where we are with snowpack and drought, with just a short thing that the March forecast from Bureau of Reclamation was they're expecting the inflow for March for Rudeye Reservoir is going to be 51% of average. Still hoping to open May 1st for boating and recreation up there. Right now, the elevation of the lake is, or the height of the lake is 7,721 feet. They need 7,723 feet to open the boat ramp. We're really close. We haven't even started the inflow of spring runoff, so we should be okay for starting. Could mean it's a short season, though, depending on how fast that water is used by the contracted water.
Did you freeze this year?
Pardon me?
Did you freeze?
I was up a month or two ago. I was not frozen. And I was just up, like I said, this morning, and nothing is frozen, and it's very, very low. So, yeah.
If you had a boat ramp that went lower, could you get more boats in, or is that just a function of also just the general reservoir depth?
It's more the function of the depth,
Okay.
and looking at and discussing the boat ramp this morning with Forest Service. I don't see it as being extended.
Yeah.
I wonder how long the access for the yacht club is going to have. That'll probably get cut off really early because their boat ramp is pretty short.
Too bad the big rain we had last night didn't help.
Big rain, yeah.
I know.
Every little bit helps.
Greg.
Yeah, regarding aquatic nuisance species, we have it's the first time I recall having two different entities that work with Pitkin County requesting money for the same thing. Same thing in that it's aquatic nuisance species mitigation.
Right.
Open Space is looking at all their assets up and down the Roaring Fork.
Right.
Rudeye is still trying to make sure we keep the ANS out of Rudeye. And I just want to make sure we're all really kept aware of that, because I anticipate the ask from Open Space will probably increase for, it's an educational program and signage at this point. RWAPA is probably going to be doing the same thing. We have to educate fishermen and stand-up paddleboarders and kayakers and sailors now who wouldn't use the boat ramp. Previously it was just
Right.
at the boat ramp. So I wanted to just highlight that I'm hoping we don't have conflicts over funding for ANS because it's clearly a problem that needs to be addressed in both watersheds. And the other thing I just wanted to bring up was apparently the boat ramp needs repairs, and it sounds like everything's fine, but is there any report you can give us on the state of the boat ramp?
So like I said, I was up there this morning. It turns out there is a big chunk kind of out of the boat ramp, and it looks like we were up there with a potential bidder for the contract for that. And it looks like that they'll be able to fix it using a kind of like a foam underbase. What's happened, it's all worn out underneath the boat ramp. So they need to refill that back up with a foam and then do some work with caulking and that type of stuff. But what was discovered this morning is higher up the boat ramp, there's a crack. And the consultant or the guy that was there was saying he is concerned that you couldn't really see that. It's just a light crack, but he thinks underneath that is also worn away. And it looks like an even longer chunk, maybe that whole, I think each of those slabs are 48 feet, and a good percentage of that would just fall off. So the quicker we can get that done this spring, that will definitely help out for this summer. We thought it was going to be like 2 years before we got through the whole thing. It was first going to be an inspection and an analysis, and then later we'd go back. The way that the funding will work for that is we have a contract. RUWAPA has a contract with the Forest Service to do some other things up there, and we're going to transfer some of that funding to pay for part of the cost of the boat ramp repair, because the contract allows for that. I've talked with Greg about it a little bit, and hopefully that'll get done by May. And then the people that manage the campground also manage the boat ramp, and then they'll take care of annual maintenance, so we won't hopefully encounter that as quickly in the future. So that's kind of where there is with the boat ramp.
Update for now, yeah.
Yeah. And then with what you were talking about with the aquatic nuisance species, we are really not only just watershed-wide, but statewide, trying to coordinate all of these different things that people are doing. And in a recent meeting with CPW and Forest Service, realizing that Pitkin County Open Space is kind of working on this area for that outreach and education and signage, maybe some cleaning stations. Forest Service is looking at also bringing in more of these personal cleaning stations to add a couple up to Rudai at some of the day areas, and then other places that are needed around the area, not up here at the open space.
I'm hoping, I'm assuming Open Space and Forest Service and RWAPA and Roaring Fork Conservancy and all will be coordinated in their messaging with those signs.
That is our plan.
I'm assuming that that's going to, so we're not reinventing the wheel or creating redundancies or
really using
confusion.
CPW as the lead too, because they have everything. You know, they know the story, they know what we should be doing.
Great.
Yeah.
And you just want to point out you've got a huge burden to bear because Rudai is still free of aquatic nuisance species, and we expect you to keep it that way.
Thank you.
All on your own.
All by myself. Well, that is part of the collaborative meeting, because with the spread of those, I mean, the last thing we want is something happening up there. Obviously, this program that's been happening up with the boat inspection has been going, I think, for 6 to 8 years right now. Yeah. But we haven't really looked at the individuals out there on their paddle boards and that kind of thing. So this is a whole new messaging, especially since they've discovered actual adult mussels all the way up to Shoshone now and Glenwood Canyon. I mean, we're just really looking at how do we slow this down.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yep, thanks. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Glad to get some faces. Always helps me to work better, harder, stronger.
The RWAPA board is confident that Paula was a really good hire. We're really glad to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Great. Well, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you hear of something and you're like, what's going on, I would be glad to help find out the answers.
When is the mussel bake on the shores of Rudai?
The mussel bake, I have heard they're not good to eat, but you could bring the garlic and butter anyways, and we'll find something to put it on.
Crawdaddies.
So Grassroots, with that culinary advice, we are on break.
Great.
We'll be back at the top of the hour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I came a little early because having been on city council, sometimes
Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. in Aspen, Colorado. It's Tuesday, March 24th. We just got the weather report from the sun deck. It is 50 degrees on the sun deck. This is the work session of the Board of County Commissioners, Pitkin County, Colorado. Commissioner Jacober is on holiday. We are switching to department updates and board membership reports. I'm going to start with, I'm going to kick it off.
No, I'm first on the list.
Patricia Clapper, Commissioner
But
Clapper.
before we start, would we want to take a minute to help Charlotte out? We have no more interviews for open space and trails or for planning and zoning. We could do appointments now, or do we want to wait? And
Who are you looking to bring forward? You're looking for the renewal in open space and trails, or are you looking to bring in new blood?
So you all have a couple of options. I think we're running ahead of schedule, so you've got a little bit extra time. So if you want to talk about your appointments over the next 15 minutes, and then that can give Charlotte the direction she's looking for to prepare their.
because I know she's got a lot to put on that resolution. I personally, for open space and trails, would like to keep Wayne on. He's such a calm factor on that board. He's got great history with wildlife, etc., and really knows that district well. I really appreciate Terry's background, her engineering background, and I think we found a great nook for Allison to go to, which she would be such a kick on if we could get her on Senior Services Board.
I'll agree with Patty on that. I completely agree. I think I'd like to keep Wayne there. But I also want to find positions for the other two. They're both really qualified and great people.
We should just start saying anybody who doesn't get appointed after they've applied will create the whole new weed board, but I don't think we can do that.
Can we reach out? So Allison, I think there was a push towards senior services if there's availability there.
She's going to talk to Charlotte.
And then Terry, can we didn't speak with Terry about alternatives.
I can't think of any other place that she might. We don't really have any other openings except seniors
Charlotte
and no
might.
weed board.
Maybe Charlotte would.
And
I'd ask Charlotte to see if there's anything else to reach out to her with, because her personality, her interview was great.
I was also thinking airport, but is there a conflict potentially with Jacobs?
Oh,
That's why I
Airport's
asked that at
full.
the beginning. Yeah, I'm just, but, in other words, keep her in mind if there's something along those lines.
Healthy Rivers.
Sure, Healthy Rivers might have an opening.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we can have
Healthy Rivers
Charlotte
would be
reach
great.
out to her and see what
We
openings.
just
there might be.
appointed District 5 and Healthy Rivers.
Right.
Matt just got
But
appointed.
there be an open as well. And then did you want to move on to planning and zoning?
Yeah, planning and zoning, Doug, I think would be great. He's such a few words, soft speaker, but knows his stuff. Chelsea, who I think's put in a lot of good time, I'm concerned about her time commitment. I don't know if the board, she made me feel bad about no childcare and having to pay $50 an hour for somebody to watch her newborn, her 6-month-old, but I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out and see what the board thinks.
I'd just assume we're just we'd be reappointing Doug, we'd be reappointing Chelsea. I'm fine with that. I think they're doing great
Okay.
work.
If Chelsea has any attendance issues, we'll ask that it be brought back to our attention then.
We can do that. And
'Cause I know there's some eager young voices in the community that would be great on P&Z that don't have time commitment issues, but I think we should give her a chance to settle in with that new baby.
She did come back looking to be reappointed. I think she's already thought about all that, but yeah, we can keep an eye on it, like you said, if it becomes a challenge, it's okay. But she seemed fully committed and very enthused about topics.
Still to bring the baby, the meetings would be shorter.
So I'm hearing 3 renewals, a push for Allison to senior services if available. Thank you. Sorry we're speaking in your absence.
Try to find a nook for Terry, Pat.
And
Arch.
finding
For who?
Terry.
Allison, the push was to senior services if available and applicable in the future. And then Terry, we had a question mark, but given the engineering background, if there's an opening, for example, around airport, one of the 2, I'm forgetting what they're called, support groups?
Task forces.
Thank you.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, no,
at this
just
point.
I think that the board's feeling was like, we enjoyed meeting with everyone that we came across today, and there's opportunities for them to volunteer in the community where they live and they would like to serve.
And Allison and I spoke afterwards, and she's gonna go ahead and submit a senior services application.
She'd be so much fun there, wouldn't she?
But I was serious, like if she wants to meet and have lunch at senior services with Lindsay or with Jordana or something, someone on the board, I know I would make the time and meet her there, because I think
Okay.
it is.
Well,
it's
Dr.
a-
Federwich would probably be
Yeah.
the person to meet with.
Yeah,
I'll let her know.
Chad would be available, so, and I would join them on a vegetarian day.
Any excuse to have lunch at the senior center for Jeffrey, so.
The chef is great there, so.
Great,
Yeah.
great. I wanted to get those off our plate and onto yours.
Yeah, is there any other follow-up that
So
we
we can
had,
do a
Charlotte,
resume.
any other answers that you need from us?
I don't think so at this point. I wasn't sure if I made notes of the ones that you decided on today, and that'll be on the summary sheet that I bring on the 7th. But I just didn't know if you wanted Francie to have any.
I think we have
voice.
Doug and Chelsea and
Wayne?
Wayne.
Okay. All right, I'll add those to the summary sheet, and then the only other interview we have is on the 7th, Howie.
Yeah, and Howie's been emailing from Norway.
Is that where he is?
I don't know, I
Sorry,
think he'll be
Howie's-
back by then,
He's usually in
Is he in
France.
France?
but I'm not sure.
He said he's in Norway.
Yeah, today.
Yeah. Sorry,
So-
I have trackers on all these board members.
I don't think he's kidding.
Anything else for Charlotte?
Thank you, Charlotte. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
today.
Okay, now I can be brief. I've
Thank you.
planned ahead.
Thank you, Patricia Clapper.
Yes. First of all, I'm going to make a really quick public service announcement. I'm going to throw it in right now. Bridger Guile won the NORAM GS yesterday and today.
Wow.
He got them back to back.
That's great.
I'm really proud of our local boy coming home and showing us the stuff he's got. So
Home turf.
I just got a thing from his dad. We're very proud of Bridger. That being said, Accra, coming up, folks, is, of course, Food and Wine. And the luncheon, they're in June, but I'm giving everybody heads up when I get more information. I'll make sure that the board knows. Accra, just purchased a property at Obermeyer because they're getting thrown out of the armory, and they have a gap in space between the time they close on the Obermeyer parcel and the time the city wants them to move out of the armory. They're trying to work out some details. If anybody can think of any good space that might be a possibility, let me know or give Debbie Braun a call or staff. I think Debbie's going to be traveling for a while. So Food and Wine is the 19th, 20th, and 21st of June. So we have some time for planning. Ted, the luncheon is always a great event to go to, and I think it's on the Thursday before.
Okay.
But you have to have tickets. When that information comes, I make sure the board gets it because the tickets go very fast. It's a great event.
Okay.
Okay, that being said, NACO, of course, I'm attending the conference May 1st. Following up with that, there is a bill coming out, an act that's probably going to be folded into the Surface Transportation Bill. I had Brian Pettit review it. It's called the Basics Bill, Basics Act, and trying to get some of their template letters to bring it back and have Brian help tweak it, or somebody, Levi, help tweak it to Pickens County. It's about funding for roads and bridges coming directly to counties, not having to jump through all the hoops in the interim between Washington, D.C. and home. It's more efficient use. It's supported bipartisan, or nonpartisan, I should say, by NACO. So it's a real positive thing. So I'll keep you posted on that. Northwest COG, we just had a meeting. It was a very short meeting because our executive director was in the hospital having surgery on his foot, on his ankle. So we have a new administrative assistant there, Trent Hillier. He's great. He took it over, and we decided to do the meeting all in Zoom, and he handled everything really well. We also did hire at Northwest COG, her name is Becky. She's not our finance person, it's another Becky. Why is it we have all these same names of people on these boards? And she is the kind of the deputy executive director, but she's got a background in human resources, so we're really excited about that. She's great and just jumped right in. So that's pretty fun. Economic development, we're still waiting to see if there's any federal funding coming. It's been threatened to either cut the funding or give us more funding, so more than we usually get. The May Economic Development Symposium, John Stavney, the executive director, is taking it over. Not sure what date that is. I think I'll be out of town. Jeff, you like going to that? It's a great event. So as soon as I get more information, I'll move that forward to the board.
Silver.
It's in Silverthorne.
Thank you.
The Northwest COG meeting in June is, we're kind of doing a semi-retreat. We haven't really done one to try and look at what we're gonna do with the Economic Development District and the rest of the organization. Was gonna be held in Gibson, but we decided to do it in Silverthorne. Once I get an agenda, I'll let people know, because we usually do it in dinner the night before in Silverthorne, and then we're gonna have a little longer meeting and just focus on more. We haven't really had a retreat of sorts for Northwest COG in many years, so we're gonna kind of look at what we might wanna do to restructure the organization. The Intermountain TPR, I talked with Brian. It's pretty exciting. They will be selecting a new chairman at their next meeting, which I think is coming up pretty quick before Brian leaves his office to retire. He had a meeting and talk with CDOT. Looks like they are going for the second year in a row to eliminate the multimodal options fund, which is about $71.4 million, second year in a row. It's a big deal because it grants our transit options. It's a big hit to RAFTA. And along with, if we had been able to maybe apply for any funds for our intermodal at the airport somewhere down the line, that money's all being held up because it's going to help balance the state budget. The entrance to Aspen is still the tier 1 priority for the transportation for our TPR. Summit County's project is ready to go, so it looks like they're going to bump the city of Aspen and the entrance to Aspen out of line because they're not shovel ready at this point. May 26th, Kara, I believe CDOT meeting is coming to us. Okay. It's a 1-hour meeting. It's our annual event with the top CDOT officials, and they will mostly be here in person at Brian Pettit's request. He said it'd be great if more of you could come and not Zoom into the meeting. That's where it's May 26th. Is it on our futures?
I know we've been working with them.
Yeah. So Ted, it's an opportunity for us to actually meet with the CDOT top dogs and listen to what their plans are for the future, and they can listen to what our begging for money is for the current year.
May 26th?
Yeah, it'll be part of our work session, I believe.
And we have it on there.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody knew that. And then the CC, I think Ted stepped into that, and we haven't had a meeting.
Okay. Phew.
That's the jail. You didn't miss it.
Yeah.
But that's where Kelly was the lead and I was the backup, but
Sure.
they haven't met in a while, and I don't think there's a meeting planned just yet.
Okay.
It's on my plate to get
But
one
you and I'll
started.
find out, and we can either go together and try and catch you up and catch me up at the same time.
It's right over here. Yeah.
We never know where it might
Okay.
be.
Okay.
It's somewhere in the surround. All right, thank you. Is that fast enough there, Jeffrey?
That's perfect. Thank you, Patty. Ted.
Yeah, okay. I can actually jump in for Francie here because I joined her at CAST, and that was a great intro to see how these meetings work with some like-minded folks. Similar conversations about things like the Home Act, a couple other bills that Levi's already briefed us on seem to be the topic of discussion. For me, it was amazing just to meet all the other CAST members and the cast of characters. Yeah, and so that was really cool. Mike Johnston spoke, Brittany Peterson spoke. The Levi equivalent of the Colorado Municipal League, I think her name was Bev. She kind of brought us up to speed on everything. So for me, just as onboarding, like, it was fantastic. And I don't really know the takeaways from those, but it was a good get-together. and that would have been, and Francie's still the lead on that, so that was my first time. APCHA was last Wednesday, so Jeffrey and I were there and represented the board's views on the 6 amendments that came forth. And if no one was aware, the regular APCHA board approved all of those amendments. We asked to have the one we specifically didn't support on the sexual predator rule pulled because we had issues, as was conveyed by APCHA staff. So we did vote in opposition to that. It still is moving forward, second reading next month. CCI is something I haven't been able to dive in yet.
Will they take public comment at that second reading then? Because the public may be concerned about the concerns about evasion of privacy and misconception of who was allegedly charged and not really charged, and that the system is not always kept up to date.
Yeah.
Not that we want to downplay the concern, but we need to protect the rest of the general public at the same time.
So I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, go, please.
And thank you guys for representing that.
So it was a good tag team. It was a good Ted's the vote. So it worked out well. And but I think the next step should be a Pitkin letter describing in light detail the reason for the opposition by the board. So if that's drafted by Levi, that would be wonderful. If it comes back to Ted and I, that's also wonderful. But I think the goal would be that in the board pack, the public understands Pitkin's opposition. We also, after the board meeting, had support at the table. We received additional sort of, I don't want to say accolades, but thanks from folks in the room for Pitkin's.
That's a great idea to do a letter.
And I think we can have Levi, and I would suggest also working with Andrew and the housing team because I think they really have the recommendations, and we could have that. When is second reading?
15th, third Wednesday.
Okay. So we can have Levi and Andrew work on a letter and bring it back to the board at your first meeting in April.
15th, yeah.
I think it'd be great to get it out to the city of Aspen, the city council who was supporting it, and maybe if they had more information, they may change their mind.
I mean, it's an interesting conversation because, the optics of it aren't all that great from a headline point of view, but I think when you bring forth the points, and I think there's a way to do it that would be different than the way they have it presented to get that result. This seems to be one that is, maybe they're not thinking through unforeseen consequences of implementing this rule, and there might be a better way. But it's careful wording because it does seem like you're coming to defense of, policy that should be pretty popular.
Well, and the other thing is the attorney wasn't even clear on the retroactivity. So would it affect the person that everybody's concerned about, who's incarcerated, I believe, at this time? And so I think that is still a gray area with this. So maybe at least not passing it at this time and bringing it back when all those unknowns are cleared up might be another thought.
And I would suggest if we're doing the letter, just to parse out the two conversations that you're having, that the letter be the board, coming from the board, expressing concerns of the resolution. I think, Patty, what you're suggesting is something that APCHA reps
They
could
may be able to bring up at the meeting.
as part of the meeting, and that you can just stick to the
if
facts
you
in the
wanted to
letter.
separate it out, yeah. I just think that's something that might be considered by the other members of the APCHA board, rather than pass something that still has unknowns to it. But thanks for stepping in on that one.
And I was just talking with Levi about CCI things, and I might defer to Levi on any sort of updates here because that's something I haven't been able to jump into yet and give a report on here. But I'm planning on it soon.
Greg, I know I'm next, but I'm gonna.
You want me to go?
You're gonna go. Yeah.
Well, let's
Chair's
see.
last.
Board of Health. I don't have any news for you. We haven't met since I've reported previously. Although I did have a conversation yesterday with Mirta Mallory, who's at WeCycle. But the nice thing is when Krista Giesel reapplied for Board of Health last week, she brought up bicycle safety. And what I heard from Mirta yesterday is that bicycle safety is big on WeCycle's minds, and they're talking to everyone. They're talking to RAFTA, of course. They're talking to the various municipalities up and down the valley, and there's really a coalition together of people that are working on a solution for really it's speeding on e-bikes is the big issue, and how are they going to fit on the trails, and how can we make them safe, whether it's school kids. Krista's also, of course, vice chair of the school board, so we've got a double representative there working on this. So stay tuned regarding the biking issue. I think we're going to have some suggestions coming forth from a broad coalition of interested parties. So it was nice to hear about that happening, because Rachel Richards and I have both been talking it up on the RAFTA board. But really, and we've talked it up at the Board of Health as well. So it's something's happening, and I think by spring we're going to have some good ideas on how we can address unsafe conditions for kids on high-powered electric bicycles. RAFTA, let's see, I don't know, did the last RAFTA meeting last month was the first time in 20 years that Garfield County attended. Tom Jankowski attended the RAFTA meeting. That was the big news, and it was great to have him there. We also had the big news that they're taking delivery on 11 electric buses from previous grant, so those are on schedule to be delivered. The CDOT grant that didn't materialize, it's unfortunate because it really affects the bus station down on at the intersection with I-70. That would have been like a Bustang / RAFTA connection bus station for West Glenwood, and unfortunately that funding was affected by the CDOT. And the CDOT had promised the money and then had to call and say they couldn't promise it because it was withdrawn. So that's the news from RAFTA right now. Rider numbers weren't down that much. They're still analyzing just what the situation was regarding the free bus fares. We talked a lot about the hogback. We're going to try to keep the hogback route going because so many people depend upon that in the lower valley. Good news there. There was an issue with several citizens showed up for public comment, which made it interesting. It's the first time I've chaired a RAFTA meeting where we actually had a lot of conversation from the public because they were concerned. The town manager of Silt, I believe, had proposed that the Garfield County Commissioners take money from the library funds and give it to the hogback RAFTA service. So that made the library people very upset. RAFTA had nothing to do with it, yet we were called out for doing something nefarious. It was an interesting conversation, but I think we've got that sorted out. Still looking for money down there, but the communities down there are paying attention and taking action now, which is great. Let's see. Rawapa, you just heard from Rawapa from Paula. I don't think I need to fill anything else in there. Everything is going well there. Let's see. Opioid settlement, I don't have anything for you. I did want to say that my former report, CORE, has been in the news lately because they're knocking it out of the park. When I was on the CORE board, we made a decision to change the structure. We created a nonprofit, and we took the elected officials off the CORE board. And CORE then created a multifaceted fundraising, which includes fee-for-service, federal grants, the REMP fees, which we still contribute to and the city does, as well as other services they give. And CORE is doing quite well. They've got a very strong board now of local people who are really engaged, and they doubled their ability to provide energy grants locally. So CORE is a success story of an organization that was totally dependent upon the county and the city being able to move away from that. Although we still give them REMP and still need to, they are thriving and doing a really great job right now. So just wanted to say that's the good news. I gave you the e-bike report regarding my conversation with Mirta yesterday, and that's all I've got for you.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
So River Roundtable was yesterday. I'll start with the only good news in my entire report. Temperatures higher than normal over the next 90 days, but a chance of precipitation being greater than normal. That is the first good water news we've heard in about a year and a half, sitting at both the River Roundtable and at Northwest Cog QQ. The Shoshone came up at both Northwest Cog and at the River Roundtable. Representatives from Congressman Hurd's office were there, and it remains a top priority is unlocking the $40 million to close out the Shoshone acquisition. SB 26102, the data center bill, to my chagrin, QQ is in a support if amend position, which sounds goofy, but there was a long conversation about water use, electrification, etc. And QQ ended up in a support if amend position, which I don't know how you do that legally.
Where would you, sorry, explain where were you thinking it should go?
I was in a deny position.
You realize they require a consensus?
Yeah, no, we didn't move it forward.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't hear that. Thank
No,
you.
QQ did not move it forward. There were others in the room, Eagle County, Grand County, that were in a similar position.
Okay, great.
So, CCAT, we are having burritos with legislators at 7:30 tomorrow morning at the state capitol. And then we're meeting with legislators on a wildfire bill that would delay the implementation of the Wildland Urban Interface Code that was just developed by the state of Colorado. CCAT is in an opposed position, and we're meeting with the legislators tomorrow at the Capitol. There was SB 26141 is the Wildlife Collision Prevention Bill, and again, given who's in the room, I thought you'd like that one. The potential revenues to the state of Colorado off of a $5 Keep It Wild pass would be $1.9 million in 26-27 and $3.9 million in 27-28. So not exactly moving the needle at a total of $5.6 million over the next 2-3 years. So while we support Senator Roberts, the fiscal constraints facing the state of Colorado continue to impact getting anything done. But, I'd like this board to support that bill, and there's a chance for Commissioner Postman to testify tomorrow in a Senate committee. Two other updates. I will be in Denver again for CCI on Friday, and I'm going to read you some of the headlines because they're all pretty. I said I started with the most positive thing, I'll end it with negative, and I'll try to pick it back up. But the CDHS is the Health Services, Colorado Health Services, driving efficiencies in benefit service delivery via districts and driving efficiencies in benefits delivery shared services. Those are now the longer names of districting and shared services. The state of Colorado, the legislators, and CDHS are not in agreement as of today. And so the continued back and forth that we thought was healthy with CCI, CDHS, and then the state is ending in a couple of denial positions from CCI and CDHS. We continue to be a part on SNAP funding, on TANF funding, on CBS modifications, kinship care, county block grants, HCA management. I can keep going, all the way down to diaper distribution reductions. So I'm in Denver for Health and Human Services on Friday to continue those conversations on behalf of Pitkin. Lindsay has already sent me her debrief or notes. She won't be in attendance, but I'm assuming Levi will be on call, and I'll be in the room for that. And last one, on a positive note, we've spoken a lot about wildfire and insurance at this board table. There is an insurance summit taking place in Aspen. It will be June 10th through 12th. I was asked to sit on that. It will conflict with one regular meeting, I think, but I would like to attend. It's June 10th through 12th, and it's the Aspen Wildfire Insurance Summit. And it includes battalion chiefs, technology, one architect / commissioner, politician, but it's the the conversation is still how do we get reduced rates in the state of Colorado. Michael Conway, who's the DOI, the Director of Insurance, we would like to see from the state a bill that would bring back hail coverage in the state of Colorado and potentially reinsurance for the hail industry, because we on the Western Slope continue to pay for a catastrophe that doesn't hit us here. And so even though hail is a front range phenomenon, it is still something that we pay for statewide. So it's a wildfire conversation, but again, we're still pushing the state in terms of having the hail conversation. That is my update.
Who convened that?
Who can?
Convened that
Who's
meeting?
putting
The
it
G10?
on?
It's Angie Davlin and the Roaring Fork Wildfire Collaborative, and it is, Pano AI will be there. Their new drone operator, which is, drone delivery, will be there. There's several folks from Risk Strategies, which is sort of the insurance
great.
experts. But it was a very small group in 25, and they've widened it the net a little bit in 2026. But it should be an interesting 2 to 3 day summit.
Yeah, sounds great. I think you should be there.
Thank you.
So it's a Tuesday, Wednesday?
It is the 10th through 12th, which is a Wednesday through Friday.
Oh, okay.
So I will mark myself absent on the 10th. It will be my first board meeting miss in a year and a half.
It's a slippery slope.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
You make sure the vice chair knows that she's going to be running the meeting.
Any further board updates? Anything else we needed in board updates? I think everything else is open discussion. Yeah.
Slaughterhouse Bridge, Andrew Knapp in the house.
So we're going to the slaughterhouse next.
I was just down there the other day, hanging out in the park.
Uh-oh, core samples.
Most of you guys got to see the core from the bridge. I'm Andrew Knapp, the county engineer. I thought this would be a great opportunity.
I want one.
This is a single core that came out in 2 pieces from the slaughterhouse bridge. And this is just to give you a sense for the weight.
No, pass it around. Pass it around. I want to see it.
If you want to, you can.
These are your pebbles versus your big rocks.
Andrew, I want to see pass those around. I want to.
Sure.
You didn't see them
Paperweight.
around,
I've seen them before.
They were here before. You had them
Where did they come out from? In the
Toss it to
bridge?
Patty,
From
you
the
know.
bridge deck of
right through the
slaughterhouse.
window.
Okay.
So, in our
15
diligence
inches.
to repave Cemetery Lane, we know slaughterhouse needed to be repaved too. To determine whether we could just add asphalt to it or if we had to remove, we did cores on the bridge to see how much asphalt was already on the bridge. This is what came off the bridge. Close to 1 foot of asphalt. This is how much should be on a bridge.
Okay.
So the bridge is carrying this much extra
2/3
weight
too much.
over the entire deck area.
Cool.
And one of the things we're gonna do is remove all of the asphalt from the bridge deck surface. Expose the concrete deck underneath. Do any required deck patching on that deck since it's open. That's our opportunity. We don't expect to have much deck patching there, but that's our opportunity. And then we'll put a new waterproofing membrane down to protect the bridge, and then a new asphalt overlay,
Between the two.
which will be about 5 inches in thickness. So,
What are we doing with the old asphalt?
what are we doing with the old asphalt? The contractor gets to keep that. So it's up to the contractor to determine how they want to get rid of it. It is accepted at landfills.
We don't want it going there.
Can
We
take
don't
to the
want it
airport?
going there. Most frequently, it ends up at other gravel pits and operations to be recycled and incorporated into new asphalt pavement, frequently called RAP, or recycled asphalt pavement. So
Where riprap comes from. Is that right?
I
that
don't know the
No, that's totally
etymology of
different.
riprap.
I'm always
It's
wondering
close,
about
but
riprap.
totally different.
Yeah, so
We couldn't require that. If we're going to give you like a lot of money's worth of asphalt, that you have to recycle it at some place of your choice. It's too
You-
late now to probably do
You
that.
you could potentially make that a contractual requirement, there. You know, the more contractual requirements you have, the fewer bidders and the more expensive it can potentially be.
I just hate to think they're gonna just take it to the landfill and
It-
dump it.
I would be shocked if it ended up
Okay,
at the landfill.
all right, I have faith in you.
Yeah.
And even if it did, it would be pulled out and set aside for
So
resale.
we could use it at the
For
landfill for something.
For resale and other applications. You know,
great.
people frequently take
Thanks,
asphalt
Brian.
millings to harden surfaces without going to full hot mix asphalt.
We did that at the Brush Creek.
Yeah,
When
Brush Creek
we
Park and
pulled
Ride.
up, sorry, the Brush Creek. I can't call it like
P&R.
In-N-Out Burger.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, that was a Brian joke. Didn't we repurpose the runway one year?
Yes, it hardened the back lot of the intercept lot, or we even
Thank
calling
you.
that
No,
anymore.
yes.
But in an interim condition until the FLAP grant came through and reconstructed that. So I think you guys, I've been presenting on this project a little bit during budget season. Ted, you probably haven't been fully looped in. But long and the short of it, we had Cemetery Lane blowing out and needed to be repaired. And that was our opportunity to look at Slaughterhouse Bridge. We did the course, determined we needed to take the asphalt off. And it's a classic case of scope creep, where you have a small scope and then you need to do larger things and they're more urgent. And also the bridge railing of the Slaughterhouse Bridge, you may notice, has some holes in it. And there shouldn't be holes in a steel railing on a bridge. So we are going to be replacing the steel tubes on the bridge railing as well while we're there. We have Frontier Paving under contract to come in. We had a contractual milestone for them to complete this impactful bridge work by July 4th. And, you know, we write these milestones in the preceding summer and fall timeframe before we know what kind of winter we're going to have. And, well, we didn't have winter, and now we have a window in April where unexpected construction window that we are really excited to be able to take advantage of. I think it's a great time to kind of peel the Band-Aid off this project. You know, traffic volumes are generally a lot lower in April in the transitional period between ski season and the summer season. And traditionally river volumes are less. There's less river activity happening out of the park there as well. And in order to safely do this work, we're going to have to close the bridge for limited periods of time. So we've tried to strike a balance with our closures between giving enough time for work to be done efficiently, but not make it so impactful, and also giving them enough time so it doesn't stretch out over too long of a duration. So in the contract, we've given Frontier 10 days of bridge closures from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on a daily basis. So it'll be open for the morning commute period, and then it'll have to be closed in the evening commute period. Of course, everything I'm telling you is weather dependent and dependent on the condition of the bridge deck that we have yet to uncover. And that will be become apparent once that asphalt is removed from the bridge. And currently, Frontier is planning on mobilizing to the project April 6th to start getting the project started. And they have April 10th penciled in for the start of those closures. Now, I know this is impactful, and we've had conversations with the school district because there is a school bus that runs across the Slaughterhouse Bridge. They've been a great partner in making alternative arrangements to accommodate what we're proposing here with this closure schedule. So we won't affect their morning bus route, and they've made some plans for their afternoon bus route so everyone can get where they need to go out there.
They have kids waiting in the river.
I hope not.
What's the total length of the project?
So right now it's scheduled to finish June 12th, and that may get extended if we get into more structural work than we expect. I don't expect this to be more than we anticipate, just based on the visual appearance of the bridge, the underside of the bridge deck, and other indications, lack of consistent potholing on the bridge as well. So I'm hopeful that the bridge deck will be in good condition and won't need more work than anticipated, but we don't know until we have it uncovered. And if you've never, sorry, I'm about to fall down a rabbit hole of how you actually tell where you need to work on a bridge deck. I'm happy to tell you about all about that, but maybe I'll stop there.
Patty, and then we'll go down to the rabbit hole.
Yeah, you know, I hate to tell you this, but I was really planning on huge snowstorms coming up because we need the water. So hopefully the project gets delayed because we have snow. You know, it's a win-win or a lose-lose. But that being said, we need to make sure we get notice out to the users of the river there, Stein Park, because if they're going to have a short season, they're going to want to be in the water early.
Yes.
To keep their revenues up, to keep them from going bankrupt this year. So I think we need to make sure whoever has permits to use Stein for commercial use, that they're aware of the possible time closures and the time frame. And there's a bunch of lumber out there right now. Do you know what that's for?
Where's
It's in the
lumber?
parking lot at Stein Park.
I don't know what that's about. It's
Significant stacks of, yeah, they must be, looks almost like railing for the pedestrian bridges out there. It's wood, nice big pieces of plank, long length. Yeah, it's taking up most of the loading and unloading parking area.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
We are not having the contractor use that parking area as their staging.
But if there's other
or
activity
laydown
that we
yard.
don't know might be going on, I mean, hopefully it'll be done before we get in there, but.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have been in coordination with our county communications team, including Jamie from Open Space and Trails, and she was going to loop in all of the outfitters that are permitted
Great.
through them. She's got a good list of folks there.
Yeah, and find out, maybe it's an open space and trails project that's going on there.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
And we,
I was just down there hanging out the other day when the weather was so nice. Thanks.
yeah.
I'm looking at the SGM report from 2022. What is the year of the Slaughterhouse Bridge?
It was constructed in 1993, if memory serves.
Yeah.
And this was an issue that was not identified in the SGM report because they did not go to the level of taking bridge course
Okay.
on the bridges in the county.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
So it's 9 to 7, closed for 10 days.
Yes, 10 working days. The current period they have identified for that is April 10th through the 23rd, which we're not counting the weekend when they're not working, and the bridge will be open as part of that 10-day calculation. Those are just working days of bridge closure.
So it's open at night. It's not. It's closed, but
If
it's not
everything-
one lane closed. It's 2 lanes closed.
Yes.
Okay. And-
Unless something unexpected is uncovered.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we currently anticipate.
I mean, it's such a major commute in the morning, more than the evening at this point. Do you think it's concluded at 9, like the major traffic, or I know you have your window that you can operate in, but you know, what do we think when the actual McLean Flats route into town winds down? Like,
Probably a little later,
Little
probably
beyond
more
that.
closer to 9:30 or so.
but it's such a tail end of the season. Probably there's just less traffic anyway.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a behavior, the shortcutting or using of McLean that we like to encourage. Our county roads being used as a bypass of the state
but yet
highway.
it happens.
We're very aware it happens,
Yeah.
and we're being thoughtful of where we're placing our signboards, our variable message boards.
Yeah.
So people are aware of this closure before their decision points. So we have a permanent message board on Highway 82 just down valley of Smith Way.
Yeah.
We're planning on utilizing that to message the bridge closure, so when it's closed, people don't go all the way down McLean just to have to turn around
Yeah.
and come back.
And then another something at Jaffe Park.
Yes, yeah, we're planning on having one there at Upper McLean and
And then
Smith,
down Valley further.
and then one kind of near Power Plant Road for that side of the bridge,
Coming that way.
and then one on McLean closer to the bridge. So we're gonna have lots of signs
And
out
just
there.
the phone number for people who have concerns and complaints goes to the new guy on the board.
If people are interested, my
His
phone
district,
number
kind
is
of, I think.
easily
It is
accessible.
my district. I'll be out there every morning. Just
One
to
Google
hand
search
out
away.
donuts or
Red,
something
red,
to-
red badge, red
a flagger.
sash.
I'll be a
yeah.
flagger.
I
No,
s-
I mean, it has to happen, and it's inconvenient, but it actually sounds like 10 days. If you keep it to 10 would be,
It might be less.
much
I'm not
it
gonna
might be
make a
less. It
promise,
might be-
but yeah, it might be less.
and it's great that the weather, sorry, Patty.
And we gotta have rain, or snow, we mean, we
Yeah,
gotta
but
have
it is
snow.
nice that we could do this over off-season, because if it went to July 4th, I think this is actually optimal in that sense.
Well, July 4th, who knows what'll happen for July 4th, but.
And I spoke to a reporter just a couple hours ago. I think this will be a story in the paper tomorrow, so that'll help get the word out with our.
With his phone number.
What's your cell
County
phone?
phone, the county phone, it's on the
District 2,
website, not the
District
personal.
2.
Jeffrey, just one other thing, just quickly, Andrew, I think the board might be interested, just a quick update on the Redstone Bridge as well,
Oh,
where we
yeah.
are in that process.
Sure. I was in Redstone this morning. There is no longer a Redstone South Bridge.
Oh, pictures?
Both spans. I have a cell
That's
phone.
it, just at some point, bring us back pictures, I'd like to see what that's bridge.
Both spans have been removed. When I left the site around 11:30 this morning, they were starting to work on removing the pier and getting that out of the middle of the river, and they're hoping to be out of the river within a week, and then we won't be in the river anymore for the duration of the project. I'm really excited to reach that
That's
project
exciting.
milestone, to get all our in-river work done. This heat definitely makes me nervous, and our lack of freezing overnight and the runoff and the crystal. Eager to get out of the river.
Yeah.
Down there. Thanks, Brian.
Still want snow, sorry.
That's okay. I mean, if we have to
Can I
delay
get
the
a-
project,
just a
just snow.
quick question?
We have you, can we go update on Smith Hill and Lazy Glen while we have you?
Sure. You can ask any question you'd like. So Smith Hill and Lazy Glen project had, if you're not fully looped in, we got a highway safety improvement grant to reconstruct the Smith Way intersection.
Yeah.
Design is underway for that. The construction funds are for 2028. However, if we're ready, I'm told we can go in 2027. And that's what I'm planning on. So we've had our FIR meeting with the state of Colorado to review the preliminary design. And we are gearing up for our FOR meeting, kind of our big final design check-in meeting with the state here in a couple months. The design is looking pretty good. We're looking at signing plans and finalizing that layout. It's really important we get the exact crossover locations dialed in for those new U-turns there. And then Lazy Glen as well, with the addition of that up valley acceleration lane out of Lazy Glen. And that's all coming along well. I am planning on driving through some other examples of this intersection in Missouri here in a little while to make sure we learn lessons from other implementations of these intersections. We've had close coordination and informational sharing meetings with Federal Highways Administration and the Missouri DOT, where they have a lot of these styles of intersections to kind of get their lessons learned. they're really excited about our project. I think it's a great location for this intersection type. And yeah, I'm really excited there.
You're gonna be
too.
so confused when you get home.
I hope not. We're putting a lot of thought into the signage plan. It's going to be a change, and yeah, a change.
It'll be interesting because some people are kind of doing it already anyway.
They are doing it already, and we had to remove that crossover
I know.
at Cozy Point, where there were some new conflicts arising from people's enthusiastic use of that crossover as a Michigan left location, conflicting with people accelerating out of Smithway, going up Valley, including some of our sheriff's deputies. You would think cutting off a sheriff's deputy
Would be a
wouldn't
lesson.
be something you would do while driving, but apparently some people don't think about that. And
Levi's going, yep, I know that.
yeah, so that design is going well. CDOT is enthusiastic about this intersection, the first of its style in the state. And yeah, I'm excited about addressing that major safety issue there at that intersection.
Was Lazy Glen slated for 27 as well, or earlier?
Yeah, it's going to be a single project. They're both intersections are going to be bundled into one construction contract. So 27 as well, if
Great.
everything falls into place as I hope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, kick on wood.
Yeah.
Anything further? Yeah.
Just back to Slaughterhouse, the trails around there, what the impact there, is that being conveyed to the open space city, county as needed?
Yes.
Rio Grande and Cemetery Lane?
Yeah, so we've, there won't be an impact to the Cemetery Lane trail and pedestrian bridge.
Okay.
That'll remain open.
Yeah.
The Rio Grande Trail goes underneath the Slaughterhouse Bridge. And that will need to be closed intermittently, and we have coordinated that with our Open Space and Trails Department and the city's Open Space and Trails Department. It shouldn't be very impactful because we are going to just provide an at-grade detour across McLean Flats and right back into the park. So it's going to be a very short detour around. We're not messaging for people to change their behavior through there, and if the bridge is closed anyway, there shouldn't be any through traffic, which will make that crossing even easier in that location. But yeah, we got to have that trail underneath closed while that overhead work is going on.
Makes sense.
Great, thanks. Thanks.
Thank you. Quick question. How long, how much life extension on the bridge deck are we going to achieve by taking this load off? The whole thing is we're trying to maintain the life of this bridge by doing what you're doing, right? There's a reason for this, and I just wanted to hear what your prediction is. There's got to be a bright side to doing all this. And then the second part was, if we have to pay them to haul the extra asphalt away, is it too soon to take it to the airport where they're going to be building a batch plant and regrinding asphalt for runway surfacing?
I think it is too soon for the airport project, and I don't have an exact answer to that lifespan question. It's
assuming that's the point.
It is a huge point of this. You know what this is in technical terms? This is a dead load. This is a load on the bridge that it carries 24/7 that adds no value to the structure.
100 pounds per square foot?
I'll take your word for that.
I know how much it is. I'm sitting here the whole time like
50, 75.
It's 110 pounds per square yard inch, which is a unit you've probably never heard of in your life.
Inch thick.
It's a square yard of pavement 1 inch thick. That's how we think about paving roads. But when I think of all this weight being removed from the bridge, I just imagine the entire bridge breathing a big sigh of relief when this has been removed off of it. Maybe a little extra camber coming back to that structure. You may have noticed there's not much curb height for that sidewalk on the bridge.
Yeah.
And now we know why.
Yeah.
There's not much curb
There's no
height
curb. Right. It's
on
all
that
gone.
bridge. So
It's
we're going to
underwater.
have a more adequate curb between the pedestrian sidewalk and the roadway as well. And it will add life to the bridge. But the exact number I can't tell you.
But those cores are pretty cool looking.
Yes. Every opportunity I have to show them off. That's
That
why I
is
keep
pretty
seeing
cool.
them.
I know. He can start wearing it around his neck on a chain.
Thank you both. Brian, we'll see you tomorrow for, what's the name of the project?
Oh, would be the Brush Creek Park and Ride lease with RAFTA.
The Intercept lot.
Yeah. the
That's
Intercept
a
lot.
tough one.
Thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Pictures of Redstone without a bridge. I'd love to see.
Okay.
Be cool.
I'll email them to you.
Mr. Borst, if you care to join us.
Bring the prop.
We are opening discussion.
So I'll kick us off. I shared you have 3 letters for board consideration. I'll start with the first 2. There is a request for a letter of support from the city of Aspen for their lumberyard project. It's a $1.5 million request. And then there is also a request from Energy Smart Colorado for their CDS, congressionally directed spending, used to be known as earmarks, for their request as well. When we met with Senator staff for Pitkin County's application for the airport, we did ask them about signing on to letters and how that was perceived, and they said we definitely understand. The intent is to see broad community support. Both of these would not be in the same committee as our airport request. And also Senator, the delegation and staff understand that signing any letter of support is not negating our airport project as our #1 request. And then I would say the city of Aspen did sign our letter of support for our airport request.
Question on the Energy Smart, there's no dollar amount?
Do we know? I knew you were gonna ask. Hang tight.
No, I don't remember seeing a dollar amount from Casey.
We will find that out real quick.
I mean, I'll look to the board, but I think we would be willing to support, we would look forward to supporting both Energy Smart and the city of Aspen, but we would like clarification on the Energy Smart's dollar amount.
Are you speaking for the board as a whole?
I was suggesting the board would be interested in the quid pro quo with the city of Aspen and potentially furthering Energy Smart's letter as well.
And I would just clarify, what the delegation has requested is they want one sign-on letter. This is what we did with our application. They want one letter with basically a signatory page versus 5 different. So I would encourage that we don't really have the ability for wordsmithing, and it's more the signing on.
All we're looking for is what we're signing on to.
Yep.
I don't think we're looking to modify or edit. Patricia, thumbs up?
I'm not gonna sum up at this point. I'll let you guys move it forward. I have concerns about the lumberyard project. So, but I don't have a problem if the board chooses to just support a letter, but I still have concerns about what they're doing out there and the impacts to the community, but in a positive in some ways, but in a not positive in other ways, but.
Is the board ready to move on? Do you have enough thumbs up?
So we have confirmation for supporting. We will get the letter, or the number amount for Energy Smart, but confirmation from the majority of the board for supporting both of these letters.
Yes.
I'm seeing 3 yeses and 1.
I know, we're not voting.
Vacillating.
Yeah, so we don't vote at work sessions, so I'm letting it move forward. How's that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. And then the next letter that you have, this is following up from your joint meeting with Open Space and Trails on the e-bike. I think Gary and Levi have crafted the letter that is before you. I think Francie did have a chance to look at it and did not have any comments, and she was in support of it.
I didn't hear any comments.
Oh, okay. Maybe that just came to me directly. So Francie responded and was in support of the letter written.
Question for the room. The feedback from BLM in the room was they wanted to be as specific as possible. Did we meet that requirement? And were there site-specific concerns outside of Red Hill, and I thought it was SUNY? Yeah, and I don't see those captured here.
There is Red Hill at the bottom.
The Red Hill's noted in here. Support for the one at Glacier and Crown Mountain and
Looks like we need an extra
the concerns
paragraph
about Red
space there.
Hill.
But I don't think Sudi is called out in here. I don't see that one.
I thought that was one of the specific concerns.
Yeah, the concerns for Red Hill were topography and congestion, and is that an appropriate place to put more conflict? Whereas Glacier, Crown Mountain, or that neck of the woods over there, it would be a seamless transition and appropriate for e-bike use, class 1.
We can make those edits and add in, I think, Sudi as
Yeah,
an
just be a little
attachment
more
to Red Hill.
specific.
And then have the board chair sign on behalf of the board, because the comments are due tomorrow.
I liked it. I thought it was a good letter, but yes, I agree with Jeffrey.
Anything else in terms of specificity that the board wanted to capture? Because I think that was really, when I saw the 3 folks taking notes, I think that was really their, a specific, and I know we have less than 24 hours, but anything else that was important to capture?
Well, I kind of remember one of the reasons against opening Red Hill and Sudi was because that was already an extensive collaboration with neighboring groups to try to get to the point that it currently is, and to then just open this up, which isn't that different than what it's saying. But there a lot of work had been done prior just to get it to where it is today, and it seemed like that was subverting a process that had already worked initially.
So I think that's
So
important.
maybe call that out more specifically, more
that,
directly.
That particular area, I think, took a lot of work, stakeholder conversation, and they didn't want.
What? Yeah. Why would we be going back on that work already previously done? I think that's critical. Thank you for that catch.
We'll get those additions.
Anything else on the 3 letters?
No.
There was a request for Commissioner Postman to testify tomorrow on the wildlife crossing bill, and it would just take an indication from this board that we're in support, much like we were in 24, 25 of the VRU bill, that we'd be also supporting. The board would extend their support to this bill, Senator Roberts' wildlife crossings bill.
What time is that testimony? Is it going to be during our regular meeting?
Yeah, that's the
committee
question.
starts at 1:30 on the 25th, and
So it
I
could-
have to check the order to see when this bill is up in that committee.
So it could be any time during the day.
Well, because if we need to make sure we maintain a quorum at this table, just in case.
And if we don't testify tomorrow, we had already indicated to CCAT that we would testify in the House. So there'll be other opportunities too.
Right.
But it would be, the beauty of this is actually, I think Mr. Simpson is also on this bill. So he would see a face to the county that he's.
So can I have a
I
point
can
of
call him out.
clarification? We're going to testify in support of state legislation to raise funds through this avenue of raising funds, not specific to testifying in support of a bridge at Shale Bluff.
No, this
it's only
is-
about
This
the
is a
bill.
broader.
It's a broad bill,
Okay.
state bill.
This is again in the same context of I forget the bill number, but the Vulnerable Road User Protection Bill, the testimony by this board was in support of the concept of the bill and bringing back funding to the West Slope. That bill was 75% front range, vulnerable road user protection, 25% wildlife crossings. This bill is 100% wildlife crossings, and it involves a $5 fee. Can I say fee? $5.
Opt-in fee.
Opt-in fee from the Keep It Wild.
Right, I just want to make sure that
No,
our
there's-
testimony
the testimony is
unrelated.
is just what you said, because I think that's something we all
Yeah,
support.
Yeah, and again, I think I shared with both Levi and with Commissioner Postman the testimony this board gave in 2025. It did not talk about individual conditions. It talked about, what we're seeing, eyes on the ground and what we're witnessing on Highway 82 and 133. So it pictonized it still gave a sense of.
Yeah, I would like it to be just in support of supporting vulnerable users across the state of Colorado with the state across the state of Colorado
Precisely.
fundraising mechanism.
Yeah, that's it. And Levi, I was going to get with you after, if that's possible.
Sure.
Just to if we have to craft something, or if you've got it already, just let me know.
We can probably piece it together with all the testimony and talking points we've advocated for in the past.
Great.
Super
Excellent.
easy.
And to Commissioner Clapper's question, it's consistent with the letter that we sent to Representative Hurd. So it's the state version of what we sent at the federal level, basically.
Yeah, and I thought that was great, but it was in front of us in writing. I just want to make sure with something spoken orally, we stay on that same track.
I think I'd probably suggest crafting testimony directly from that letter that we sent to Rep.
Yeah,
Hurd. It
good
had
idea.
all of the specifics, the
Sounds good.
stats, and the
Makes it
talking
easy.
points. So that way the board's already seen all the verbiage and should be consistent.
And that's what we shared with CCAT, so they knew what our testimony would be as well if they're prepping other commissioners to testify. Anything else, open discussion, anything else for Levi, anything else? Levi?
Yes, sir. Two other requests for testimony that we've received. One is a request to testify in opposition of 1030, which is the worst of the two data center bills. That's the tax incentive version. That is March 26th at 1:30, if anybody's interested in that. And then finally, to triple book members of the board, the microgrid grant program extension. If you remember, we talked about that maybe a month or two ago. There's an opportunity and an ask to testify tomorrow at 1:30, the exact same time as the Wildlife Crossings bill, in support of extending that program. And these are two pieces of legislation that the board's already taken official positions on. So if the board has any interest, those two pieces are out there. And then finally, I wanted to pass on from our public health department. The JBC has been considering budget cuts to a lot of the local public health agencies. And you'll remember we wrote a letter and sent that off to the JBC. And that reduction has been proposed. There are too many negatives. The reduction has been proposed to be reduced. Instead of $3.3 million, the current iteration is $1.5 million, and I think that's in large part to a lot of the advocacy the JBC got from
But
boards
they're still
like
cutting
yours.
funding to our agencies that are being cut by the feds.
I think cuts are inevitable. We were hoping to minimize as much as possible, so Public Health asked me to pass on thanks to this board for submitting that letter, and it's hard to celebrate being cut less, but I think it could have been worse. So thank you from Jordana.
That's a
and
sad
her team.
scenario, isn't it? Yeah.
So those are the only things that I've got new. And and I would just follow up the CCI conversation. I spoke with Commissioner Jacober, and we'll have her committees covered while she's out on vacation, and then I'll be on for the entirety aside from HHS on Friday morning. So we should have coverage for everything. So I'm happy to loop anybody in who needs to be looped in. But we should have it covered.
Cool. Yeah, I've got the 2 CCAT meetings tomorrow, or Thursday, and then I'll be on HHS in person on Friday.
Sweet.
So
Should be
went
good.
fine.
And if anybody needs the steering committee meeting schedule, I've got that printed out, but it's also on their website. So
And then, we have no action on SB 92, which is now on the books for the 30th.
Which one's 92?
92 is salaries for elected officials.
No action as of right now. My understanding from CCI is that they think that might even get pushed right now because they're continuing to work with Senator Simpson.
Okay.
So we will keep you all apprised as we know more.
Excellent. Thank you.
I do have a few other open discussion
Please.
items, though, that are not letters.
Thank you, Levi.
Thanks, Levi.
Thank you.
And sorry for the late edits on the BLM, but I think it's It's a good letter, so thank you.
No worries, I'll give it to Gary right now.
Awesome, thank you.
Couple of follow-up items. We all had discussed when Michael and Dan were here about the board needing to do a site visit to the jail annually, and talking with them and how it falls within the remodel. What we're looking at would be either, this is far out, but would be looking at May 27th or May 28th. It's when you're here. So the question is, maybe look at your calendars and let us know. It would probably be a couple of hours. I don't know if you all would want to do it the morning before your regular meeting on the 27th, or if you all wanted to look at sometime on the 28th, that Thursday.
So what day were you thinking?
27th Wednesday.
I didn't know if you would want the morning before your regular meeting on the 27th.
A couple of hours?
I'm roughly scheduling block out 2 hours, and we'll define that closer.
Yeah, I think a couple of hours, it sounds like a lot, but depends on what our agenda is for our regular meeting.
So those are the 2 days that we're looking at, and if you would prefer it to be the same day as your regular meeting, or if you want us to look at a different time on Thursday the 28th.
9 a.m. the 27th would work. I'll throw that out there.
Is there, I think the question is, do you all have commitments? I know sometimes there's Northwest COG.
I just have really early on the day before.
Okay.
To 8:30 at Accra, and then work session all day, and then a regular meeting that could have 20 agenda items. So I think starting at 9, we're gonna be pretty tired of meetings by the time we get to land use. It depends on what the agenda is for the 28th.
I think our preference was the Thursday the 28th, but knowing sometimes there's Northwest COG, I think, Greg, sometimes you have RAFTA. So is Thursday the 28th the day that's open for
All
other
I have on
commitments?
the 28th is an agenda review for RAFTA, which is typically 9 to 10 a.m.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm wide open.
I'll get some times and durations nailed down with Michael and Dan and get that out to all of you then. Couple other items too, I wanted to check in. We have historically done the employee picnic in August. Based on some feedback from staff, we are looking at spreading that because it gets really close to then the holiday party in December. So there's a recommendation and wanting to look at moving the employee picnic to June earlier, but wanted to make sure that that date would, or that June timeframe, we're looking at tentatively June 17th, and we would be doing this out at Public Works again. And so Ted, so you know, so we have 2 large events for the organization, the holiday party, and then that's
June 17th?
Yeah.
That's the Wednesday before Food and Wine. I probably won't be available that day.
We might look
But
at some
that's
June
okay.
dates. I just wanted to mostly check in with June timeframe
When is
versus
Food and Wine?
August.
Food and Wine is the 18th, 19th, and 20th, 21st. It's those 19th, 20th, 21st is Food and Wine. Luncheon is the 18th, and then I have a commitment on the 17th. But I hate to miss my last employee picnic, since I'm the one who always goes to the employee picnic, so.
We'll look at some other dates, but mostly just wanted to flag that we are looking at moving it more to June to have it spread out over a 6-month period.
That's not a bad idea.
Condensing it within 3 or 4 months. And then the only other item, I've shared it with all of you, sharing it for the public. So Pitkin County follows all state holidays. As we are closed on March 31st. It has been recognized as Cesar Chavez Day. There's concerns around Cesar Chavez, but I think the work and what the state is proposing is recognizing it for Farm Workers Day, and so we would close offices in recognition of Farm Workers Day on March 31st.
Is that what the state's calling it? Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. It has to go through the legislature, so it's a proposal right now. But they are calling it Farm Workers Day.
No, there's another sad, tragic outcome.
Those are all my items.
Great.
Anything else? Any other items from you?
Looking to adjourn.
We don't have to have a motion to adjourn a work session.
Looking to adjourn.
Oh, I thought you said motion to adjourn. Excuse me, you need to speak up more clearly then so we can hear you.
And we're
Just tell us
adjourned.
what you want to do.
4:15.
Doesn't help us over here when you mumble.